Hey everybody, chat with Nobody Else's Auto. 7 o'clock Sunday evening, time for some Sunday night live chat. Looks like some of you guys are already on, especially on YouTube. Bill Wagman's here. Charles is here with us. Kevin's here with us. Let's see. Looks like we are connecting on Facebook here. So as always, we are on two formats, YouTube and Facebook. So as you see me glancing back and forth, I'm trying to keep up with comments on both formats. If Facebook works. Facebook has been a little bit of a challenge, continues to be a challenge. And I don't really know what we're going to do about it as far as if it's going to keep working or not. So we're going to give it a few seconds to get their notifications so that they do know that we are on live and ready to go. And then we will get into tonight's chat. Pete's on with us. But don't have a super, super heavy episode built tonight. I was out of town this weekend, so it'll be a little – I mean, I got most everything squeezed in, but it'll be a little bit different. But since it's not as heavy, it's going to give me a good idea on how to gauge what we're doing time-wise because this thing is getting super long, which is great because it's because of your guys' participation, but it is really getting long. Rick's on Facebook, so we've got something going on Facebook. Lee's here with us. So we'll kind of gauge that, see how it is. Scott's on with us on Facebook, so we've got a few guys jumping on Facebook with us still as well. Jason made it. Alan NC's here. Norma's here with us. Lots of familiar faces. As always, I still can't believe you guys keep coming back, but you do. Kenny made it. Big Job's here. What a crew. It's just amazing that you guys all come back every week to make this what it is because you guys are what it is about. I'm just the one that gets to sit here in front of a webcam. It shouldn't be anything that exciting about me. Brian Dispatch, David W. Billy Bowman's on with us too, so glad you guys are all here. As always, I always try to catch as many of the comments as I can. I am going to miss a few. I always do. That we just get busy. Anthony's here. Bill says hit the like button. Appreciate that. Dennis made it. Frank from New York is on. Glad you guys all made it back. Randy's here. But looks like everybody's sliding right in tonight. Anthony is ready to go. We can help you out with that, Anthony. In fact, we'll just double shot you right out of the gate, give you both of them right up front, a little Auburn Badge and a little Hudson Badge right out of the gate for you. Kenny and Anthony are both ready. Kevin, Sunday night services with Father Chad. Alex on with us on Facebook as well. Hopefully Facebook hangs in there for you guys and continues to work tonight, so we'll see how it goes. Anyway, John's here on YouTube. As always, a little bit of housekeeping before we get started. Autocorrect, please double check your comments before you hit send. If autocorrect changed your comment to the purple elephant has big ears, it doesn't tell me anything. So please double check your autocorrect before you hit send. If I cannot make out your comment or understand it, I will have to skip it. So please double check that before you hit it. If you're on the Nobody's Show page on Facebook, I cannot see those comments. This is a shared video from the Nobody Else's Auto page to the Nobody's Show page on Facebook. If you want to comment, participate in the auctions, you will need to be on the Nobody Else's Auto Facebook page or the Nobody's Show YouTube channel. Those are the two sets of comments that I can see. So the Nobody's Show on Facebook, I cannot see those comments. So let's see. Bill Webb says, here's Chad. Yeah, that's weird. You guys still keep comparing me to Johnny Carson. I don't think I'm quite that good, but I'll give you a Hudson Badge anyway. Gabriel, great to be here. And it's better now that the Cowboys won today. I didn't pay any attention to any football today, so. Trolls, as always, I'm going to ignore the trolls. You guys do a great job of taking care of them for me, make sure they know they're not welcome, and getting them reported on here. They want my attention because they can't get any from anybody else. So while they're sitting in their basement, they're trying to screw up our chat. I will ignore them. You guys are great about running them off, and I appreciate that for having my back there. Throw a share out there. Let your friends know that we're on. And so they can get on with us and join the chat and have a good time with us as well. Anyway, looks like we got a pretty good group on already, so we'll go ahead and get rolling now that we got all that out of the way. We'll give you another Hudson Badge too. But something that, like I said, it's been kind of a bananas week for me. I was gone this weekend or part of this weekend, or I was gone most of the weekend. I actually left Thursday. So my week was bonkers trying to get ready to go. Bill says the 62 Chevys look like a big model car kit. Yeah, they kind of are. Pastor Chad at the pulpit, words of wisdom. I don't know how much words of wisdom there are, but there's a lot of words. I don't know how much wisdom is in them, but there's a lot of words. But I did run into one really weird thing this week, and just in case, and this is just a little bit of kind of forewarning. Number one's here. I ran into a deal with eBay this week that made absolutely no sense to me, and I'm going to give you what I think happened in this. I'm going to break the scenario down for you. It's happened to me once before, and in case you sell on eBay or if you buy something on eBay and hear something weird going on or get a weird email, let me tell you what I ran into this week, and it's the second time they've done it to me, and I think it's a money grab is all I can figure it is. eBay, when eBay took over PayPal payments, and you went to eBay Managed Payments because they split PayPal off into a separate company. When eBay took over the payments, you had two options to get paid. You get paid every day, which is a huge pain in the butt, trying to keep track of it, or you get paid every Tuesday. Now you can go monthly as well. But I set mine up because at the beginning it was one or the other. I set mine up on Tuesdays where I got paid on Tuesdays. On this Tuesday morning, instead of paying me, I got an email from eBay that said that my account was selected for a performance review. So I tried to look that up, and all you get is a list of BS excuses of there may have been this or there may have been that, or it's a security issue, or we're checking for this or we're checking for that. But it says, in the meantime, you can keep selling. We're not restricting anything. We're not restricting you. We're not restricting any buyers. You can keep selling, but we're not going to pay you for all the stuff you've already sold for the last week. So I thought that was kind of odd. So I emailed everybody that had bought stuff last weekend and said, hey, I got a message that your funds are being held. And I don't know what's going on, but I'm working on it. And most of them were pretty good to deal with. There was one guy that I did cancel his transaction, but everybody else is kind of like, okay, well, keep me posted. I couldn't get anything out of eBay. Couldn't get any legitimate answer out of eBay. Couldn't get a hold of anybody. Shockingly, couldn't get a hold of anybody at eBay. And then Mike from Texas is on. Tweedly D made it. And then I think Wednesday afternoon, all of a sudden they released the funds. And I'm like, for no explanation, no reason, didn't even get an email. Just went into my payment screen and the restriction had been taken off. So I got to thinking about this. I was like, this doesn't make any sense. This doesn't make any sense. What would be the deal here? Well, then I got to thinking, eBay has millions of users. If they randomly select, say, 20,000 accounts for a performance overview every week, but they don't have to pay out, think how much money they get to sit there and draw interest on for another week. And they just, like I said, randomly select. And if they randomly select 20 or 30,000 accounts every week, there's the possibilities of them grabbing two accounts of people who know each other or related or something like that, probably pretty slim. And then they release the funds before anybody can go after them, or they say they release the funds. Obviously, they won't pay me now until Tuesday. I would have had to go in and reset all my parameters to get paid Friday, and then or just leave it till Tuesday. But there again, they still keep. So there again, you either go through the steps to reset your deal to get paid on Friday, and then reset it back to weekly or monthly, or you just wait till the next Tuesday. So I'm sure they've got it figured out that if they wait till most people are just going to wait till the next Tuesday. That's probably several $1 million that they get to sit on and draw interest on for another week. And at the end of the year, their bottom line is up by several $1 million just by holding everybody else's money every week. So that's what I think happened. Big Job says I'm exactly right. Jason got his package. Great. Glad it made it safely. That's Anthony agrees with me. Money grab. That's what I think it was. Yeah, Pete brings up another good point. If they worked that hard to be user friendly, that's a very good point. Mark says good info. So if anybody runs into that, if you sell and you see something like that, or if you buy something and you get an email and the seller says, "Hey, your funds are being held," it might be something like that. Like I said, no rhyme, no reason, no explanation, no nothing. Click here for more information. It gives you a list of like 5 different things of. It might be this. It might be that. It might be this. Nothing specific. Nothing that they will give you anything to narrow it down to. I think it's just, like I said, if they randomly select 20,000 accounts and they don't pay them every week, that's a lot of money they make interest on throughout the year. So there again, just info in case somebody runs into it. And I wouldn't put it past them because just like Pete says, if they worked that hard to be user-friendly, it'd be a lot better site. Dave does sound sketchy. It does sound sketchy, but that's there again. Just like anything else, follow the money. Who makes money if they don't pay out their sellers? eBay. Alan from Arizona is here. Leo's back. says, good stuff keeps coming back. Appreciate that. Exactly, Pete. Not to mention all the time I spent on the problem. And then, of course, like I had one guy that was like, well, that's a bunch of crap. You're just, I said, nope, done, cancel. You got a refund, buddy. Well, I need that part. You got a refund because I'm not dealing with it. I told you what happened. You don't want to listen to me. So your transaction's been canceled. Your money's coming back to you. Everybody else was perfectly fine. Said, just keep me posted. It cleared Wednesday. I got everything shipped Thursday. But there again, just some information to know that I ran into that and none of it makes any sense. So if you run into that or hear about it, it could be eBay. Let's see. Car old. You hit the nail on the head. One of the major reasons we quit eBay is we had a thriving business. You can see some of the stuff we sold go through on a Cooter shops. So yeah, but I think that's the only thing I can figure. Bill, not to mention all the sporting events you have to pay for your tickets in advance for a year and they make money that way. Absolutely. It's all a money grab and you can't do anything about it because they release the funds before anybody can go after them. But they know how long they can keep it before anybody can go after them to where they can slide most of it through to the next Tuesday. Tweety says, hit the like button. Appreciate it. Big Job says, got his box, but didn't open it. It's not Christmas yet. Nope, the answer is not the Diesel Chief bump signs at number one. And actually, there isn't. Since I was on the road today, trivia is one of the things that I did not even get done and don't even have ready for tonight. So there isn't even going to be trivia tonight. Like I said, it's going to be a shorter episode with a little less content because I was out of town all weekend. Alec on Facebook, got to make sure third quarter profits are up. Yeah, I think it's every quarter because I'm betting that they have a system that every week they withhold payments on 20,000, 30,000 sellers for a performance review. So I bet it's weekly, not just this quarter. Of course, you never know. That's a good point, though, Alec. It could be, things are looking a little weak this quarter. We need to make up some money somehow. So Ryan and Amy, we buy there. Sometimes they double charge us by taking the money and putting a hold on the same transaction. After a few days, the hold comes off. So yeah. So they can take your money twice too, and then give it back later. You bet, Jennifer. Hang in there. We're all pulling for you, and just keep fighting. That's all you can do is keep fighting. We know you're having some health issues, but you guys are going to get through it. We all got your back, and so just keep fighting it. As long as you keep fighting it, it's going to be all right. So I know it stinks, but we don't all know what you're going through, but we're all here to support you. So you keep hanging in there, keep sticking with it, and we know it's all going to be all right. So Kenny got his stuff too. Randy, that's right, Randy. You're using their platform, so they hold the cards. And there ain't nothing you can do about it. Like I said, when they released it 2 days later, or actually the day a little over, they held it on Tuesday, and then by Wednesday afternoon they said it was released. So the quickest I could do would be going to reset my parameters, do a daily payment, and get it Friday. But at that point, what's the purpose of doing that for the next Tuesday? And they know that. I mean, they're just too many things add up here for it not to be. It's just kind of a crappy way to do business, but that's all 100% true. That's all you can do about it. And you got to keep fighting with their system. And if you're going to play their game, you got to put up with some of their crap, but just keep that in mind. That's the reason I brought it up, was for an information deal. In case it happens to you as a seller, compare what I just told you to what you see. Or if you're a buyer and you get an email that says, hey, your funds are on hold, it could be something like that. So number one's just going to tell us what the answer would have been. There you go. So anyway, wanted to throw that little tidbit of information out. Mini Trucking's on with us. But like I said, I was out on the road this weekend, so a little bit of decontented tonight, but I also didn't, since I was, obviously my shipping schedule kind of got screwed up last week because my plans were to start shipping on Tuesday, which I got some of your guys' stuff out on Tuesday, but the eBay stuff is now all on hold on Tuesday. So then, so that all backed up on me. So then I was thrashing to get it all shipped before I left. So it kind of monkeyed up my whole week. And that's right. Brian's fighting too. So Brian and Jennifer are both fighting some health issues, but I know they're going to make it through. And that's what we all got. That's the support thing That's what we want all of them to. We want both of them to get through, and everybody out there is going through their own problems. There ain't anybody out there whose world is perfect, and we know that. So that's one of those deals. That's where just kind of be kind comes in, and think about it, because everybody has stuff they're dealing with. We've got a couple people on here that are fighting some pretty big battles, but we know it's all going to work. So what else we got for tonight? Well, like I said, I was on the road, and I did bring a big load of parts home with me. So because my week got so monkeyed up, I didn't pick up any cars last week, but the entire back of my pickup is full. So I went to an old junkyard when I was out on the road. I get out that direction once in a while. He did let me do some videos in this place, so I've got some videos coming from it. I got a big load of parts that we're going to be getting ready to get lined up and sorted out. Actually, by the end of the day, I didn't even remember what I had. I had to unload the truck to reload the truck, and it was a little bit tricky because I was trying to figure out. And it was like I was dragging stuff out that I pulled that morning. Didn't even remember I pulled. I was grabbing so much stuff. That's right, Leo. You are 100% right. Sorry about that. Let's throw one of these up there too with you. So anyway, what else we got going on? Lots of comments. Mini Trucking loves the junkyards. Let's see. Jeff Taylor's here. Bill Disk is here. Alec on Facebook throwing his support for everybody as well. So, but since like I said, I was out of town on the road, but I got a lot of cool parts. Didn't pick up many cars, but a lot of cool parts. I got several luggage racks this weekend. A lot of 71 to 73 Chevy parts. I don't remember what I got. I know I got some cool badges and ornaments that are probably going to end up here next Sunday. I didn't pull one thing out of the back of the truck yet. So Rusty's here with us. So we'll have some more cool stuff for the auction next week out of that place, plus some videos coming up from there. So I had a good time, and I got a big load of cool parts. So we'll be sharing that. I'll do a video on them after I get the truck unloaded and get it all sorted out and scattered out and kind of remember what all I got. So, something else I've been running into more and more, especially now that we're doing F&E videos. The Facebook situation on copyright. They slapped me with copyright again last week on this show. They're slapping copyright on almost everything we're posting for F&E. So I don't know what the deal is with Facebook right now, but it is absurd with the way that they are, with the way they're handling things. Pete says the yard walk was awesome. He's starting to memorize where vehicles are at. So John liked the video on the 68 Olds. Yeah, that's a pretty cool little car. But so the Facebook copyright situation, not really sure what to think of that. As of right now, we have a pretty small group that's been sticking with us on Facebook on Sunday night. But you guys say you're not having a lot of trouble with it, so hopefully it is working. But I really don't know what to think of what they're doing with. I mean, literally, it's got copyright on everything. So I don't know if that's holding videos back. I don't know what they're doing with it. I don't understand it. There again, there's no answer for it. But we'll kind of try to keep things working. Like I said, we've got a few of you guys that still hang out on Facebook, but not very many. Pretty much everybody's over to YouTube at this point. Let's see. Oh, Stan says I need to take that huge Chevy badge off the front of that step van and mount it on the wall. Auburn Badge. Big job by the wall mount sit-go sign, 36 by 36 this week. Going through a small town rummage sale. Hey, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with finding a sign at a rummage sale for sure. Yes, Tweedledee, money orders are not a problem. I take checks on stuff too. I still got people send me checks all the time. Slide one of those in. But F&E obviously coming up here in a couple weeks. Lots of stuff happening with F&E. Got lots of content to start posting for F&E. If you've not been on that page or channel, the F&E Collector Auto Auction YouTube channel, I've been feeding a lot of videos to there. I've got a lot of stuff on there that isn't even up yet. That's all that I haven't finished up. But I've got a ton of videos coming there, getting them transferred to Facebook as well when Facebook works. Oh, it's even a lighted sign, a lighted sit-go sign. Nothing wrong with that. Let's see, Alec, I'm going to try to switch over to YouTube. My phone isn't allowing to comment, so they're trying another system shortly. No problem, Alec. I've still got you for now, so hopefully it keeps working. John, I wonder if the magazines cause copyright issue. I don't know. You would think it would on YouTube too, but we recognize the magazine. I mean, I tell everybody what magazine it is, the title, even the date, the year, even the cover price. So I'm not really sure what the issue is there, but anyway, what else is going on with F&E? The docket, we got more stuff coming in all the time. What did I list this week? Let's see, what did we talk about last week? I don't even remember what we talked about last week. Everything's kind of a blur. I know we've got another square body coming. John says his wife is an editor and thinks that may be the issue. Yeah, and I don't, but I'm not reading magazines on the F&E videos where I'm walking around talking about the auction cars, and they're slapping those too. So, nope, Jeff, not quite to the promo. We're getting real close. We're just about to the promo. So yeah, they're the F&E videos. I'm literally just walking around the car, opening the doors, opening the hood, and they're slapping those videos as well. So, Bill Disc said so giving him the Autolite sign. Now we're giving it to somebody. I don't know who yet. He fell asleep the last show. Yeah. Big Job says F&E's coming together. Yeah, we got some cool stuff. Like I said, square body Chevys. We've got some good ones being listed. I got another one this week. Like I said, we've got that really, really super slick half-ton two-wheel drive that almost looks brand new, and had probably, and this one isn't even up yet. It'll probably go up tomorrow. Probably one of the defining square body pickup. 1987 fuel injected short bed 4-wheel drive fleet side K10. Red on red, beautiful pickup. Those pictures will probably be up tomorrow on that beautiful red square body. Let's see. Pete, where are the videos your partner is shooting? Or are you doing them all? We're both doing some of them. They vary, depends on if he listed it, he's doing them. If I listed them, I'm doing them. So it's kind of up in the air. So some of them are his, some of them are mine. Just depends. Depends on who was there at that time, I guess, kind of. Tim's here with us. Got a few ATVs listed. Got a 63 Nova this week, two-door hardtop. Those cars have always been popular, but they seem to be getting more and more popular. 56 Chevy, just a real clean four-door Bel Air. 71 Chevy K10 four-wheel drive, black on black. So there's some pretty exciting things happening, some pretty cool stuff coming up. Boat Tail Riviera, 1972 Riviera, blue on blue. That's up on the site. 88 IROC, that's up on the site. A fresh build with about 50 shakedown miles on it on a red 67 Camaro convertible. So completely fresh build. Red, black interior, small block 4-speed 67 Camaro convertible, RS, hideaway headlights. So some pretty exciting stuff that is coming up. And like I said, now's when we'll end up with quite a few more now that we're kind of getting down to the wire. So, Pete, haven't seen any on the website with my partner. A lot of times Chris just shoots the videos. He doesn't do the full walk-arounds and talk about them like I do. A lot of times he'll just shoot clips and things like that. So, John says the red Chevy looks fantastic. How many we still got to get? Frank, we won't know that until 5 o'clock on Friday night, September 30th. Or how many cars do I have to go get? I've got close to 60 again that I have to pick up, which obviously I'm not going to have time to mess with for the next couple weeks dealing with F&E. But yeah, I think I'm back up to about 60. While I was on the road the other day, I actually got a text from a dealer group that I buy cars from, and said, "Hey, we got 4 more for you when you get back to swing by and drop a check off." I said, "I'm out of town. I'll get by you next week." So that's fine. There's 4 more we decided to sell you. We put your name on them, just swing by and drop a check off for them. So that so I got 4 more. I don't even know what they are. I sent me a list of them. It was nothing exciting, but so I'm back up to probably close to 60 that I have to pick up. Brian Dispatch, remember in 70 the doors too big for copyright on Light My Fire? Yeah, I do remember that. Another example of Big Brother. That's true. Pete wants the white IROC. You can own it. You're talking about coming up anyway. Just come up, stand there, and hand. You just got to hold your hand in the air. We'll tell you when you're done. Big Job got F&E site pinned to his phone. So we've also got all the raffle and door prizes up for that day. The stuff that we're going to be giving away, the clocks and the neon signs. Plus, we're going to sell some of the newer neon signs as well. We've got all that stuff listed in the memorabilia section. So you will definitely want to click on that and check that stuff out. You have to click on the tab for the memorabilia to get it to come up. So a lot of cool stuff. I actually got some decent newer pickups too. 92 Chevy, 3/4 ton 4-wheel drive, just a real clean old long bed. Basically kind of what iconic type thing, what you would think for a 92 Chevy pickup in a 3/4 ton 4-wheel drive. Nothing fancy, nothing exotic. Just a nice, clean burgundy interior. I think it's a 350 automatic. Yeah, 350 automatic. Just a nice, clean, original 92 Chevy 3/4 ton 4-wheel drive. 02 Ford Ranger extended cab 4-wheel drive. And those pickups that are that 20 to 30-year-old range are really getting kind of crazy hot. So not what you would typically think about at a collector auto auction, but you're seeing more and more of that stuff pop up at Meekum. And that's part of the nature of the beast anymore. So let's see, Bill, turn it into a mini Barrett Jacks. I don't know if we're quite to that point yet, but we're working on it. How about an Auburn Badge? So anyway, that's coming up. Be sure to stay tuned with that. Keep up with what's going on. Hope to see maybe some of you here. Mark from Andover, Maine is on with us. Alec likes the Plum Crazy Challenger. So glad you guys are digging that. Be sure to keep an eye on that. Zach's here with us. Keep an eye on the website as things progress. These last couple weeks usually get pretty busy. And like I said, we won't know for sure what all we're selling until about 5 o'clock on Friday, the night of the 30th. Looks like Jason got a little turkey out tonight. Because we literally have cars that pull in the gate on Friday that we didn't know anything about. Doesn't always happen, but I think more often than not, we have cars pulling in Thursday afternoon and Friday morning that we didn't even know were coming until then. So, the sign we're going to give away at the end of the auction is pretty cool. Yeah, that's a pretty neat piece. So anyway, that's what's going on with F&E. Stay tuned. There'll be a lot more stuff popping up. Oh, one more. Who likes custom Dodges? 1957 Dodge pickup. Chopped, slammed, pinstripe, lace roof, 383. That'll be up tomorrow too. So you don't want to miss that. It's pretty cool too. That's a badge. But anyway, we need to get to the promo. We need to talk about some badges and emblems. We need to auction some stuff off. And we need to finish the magazine from last week. So anyway, how about tonight's promo? Eloy's here with us. Tonight's promo is actually a little bit on the rough side. It's definitely got some warpage to it. And one of the bumpers is broken, but it is over 70 years old. So I guess that's a good excuse. Yeah, we're going to get an early promo tonight, and it's a pretty interesting one. The bumper, like I said, the front bumper is broken off, but I've got it, and we can reattach it, hopefully. But we'll see how that goes. But that's going to allow us to see the nose a little bit better on tonight's promo for the 1950 Studebaker Bullet Nose. Yep, the Bullet Nose Studebaker promo. Brian Dispatch loves the original Model T truck. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Now this one, we're not to the auction yet, Bill. We're still doing promos. So this is it is a Starlight coupe. It does have the window that wraps all the way around the side. It has warpage to it. You can see the roof is warped. And even the body has a little bit of warp to it. But, I mean, this is actually pretty old plastic. So you got to kind of expect a little bit of that. Like I said, the front bumper is broken. I do have it. It was with the car when I got it. This is actually a metal bumper. And it's got the two little tabs that stick out. So I could probably, JB weld it back on or something. But I do have the bumper. It's just broken off. The rear bumper is still there, still intact. It is a metal base with a plastic body. So it's kind of an odd one. But there again, this is in the experimenting stages almost with these promo models. They started doing some of these in the late 40s. This is a 1950. So almost experimental stages as to what they were going to do, where they weren't going to be worth doing. Is anybody even going to want them? Is anybody going to care? And it's still not for sale. It does have all 4 hubcaps on it. Big Job says, let's make it a gasser. Yep. But obviously, being a Starlight coupe, you can see some warpage along the back of the body here as well. But being a Starlight coupe, we see the big back window that wraps all the way around on both sides of this thing. Frankenstewed. Yep, Jeff says, I didn't know that would have been done in plastic. Well, there it is, and it's definitely plastic because it's warped. So, did they ever make promos with friction wheels? I think they did some of them, but Bill Wagaman could clarify that as to what they did. Alex says, it's still a nice-looking promo. I still dig it. Dark blue in color, very pretty piece. I'll deal with the warpage. Obviously, a fan of Studebakers. We actually have Alan NC has 3 of them, and all of his front bumpers are broke, so... this is just like the one that we have in the yard. It is a 50 Starlight coupe that we have up front at the yard as well. That car was originally burgundy. This car is originally blue. Windows are mirrored. You cannot see inside of them. There was no interior in these. David W. couldn't tell if they were coming or going. Yep. But there it is. Tonight's promo, the 1950 Bullet Nose Studebaker Starlight Coupe in dark blue. So pretty piece, even though it does have some warpage and damage and things like that. Still a cool promo. Who's ready for some badges? Once again, we'll start off with an early badge, and then we'll talk about a badge that's a little bit newer. Not warpage, genuine proof of American place is number 1. Yep, 2-row corn picker says Dave. That's actually kind of what it looks like. So, anyway, tonight's badge, we'll give you an Auburn badge first. We'll let you get a few drinks in. Is a very, very pretty badge. A lot of cool color. This one has a little bit of chipping in it. Big job, imagine if kids had with friction wheels. Yeah. This is a smaller badge, but it's a very pretty, very colorful badge from the Willys Overland Company for the Overland Automobile from Toledo, Ohio. Definitely a lot of bright colors on this with the red, white, and blue. We've got the red or the burgundy. Yeah, it's just kind of a darker red, not really a burgundy in the background here, with the blue around it, the white background, the Overland in blue, and then it was supposed to have been gold or silver trim. This one obviously showing a little bit of its age over the years. And we are still not to the auction part, guys. This is kind of a smaller badge. It is only 2 inches by 1.25 inches, so 2 inches across here. It is a stud mount on the back is how this was mounted. It is a flat badge. And what did I find? This badge actually was used for multiple Overlands throughout the teens and 20s. This pretty common for, if you can call an Overland badge common from the teens and 20s, pretty common. They use this badge on a lot of different things. A few slight variations, but very slight. The Canadian ones were worded a little bit differently. But most of the teens and from the teens up to the mid-20s Overland used this badge. Now, what I found out about the Overland Company, this would have been like on the grill shell above the radiator, John, on the front of the car, where they had the radiator right out front and the grill shell around it. This would have been on it right above the radiator. Charles Minshaw, president of the Standard Wheel Company, decided in 1902 to build an automobile with the help of Claude Cox, a recent local Polytech graduate. This is information from the American Auto Emblem website, one of my new favorite websites, as you guys all know, because that's where I found out all kinds of good information about my favorite badges. With no previous experience, Cox had come up with a design for a water-cooled 5-horsepower single-cylinder runabout. 12 cars were built in 1903, double this in 1904. And in 1905, a 16-horsepower 4-cylinder was also offered. In early 1905, the Overland Automobile Department moved to a plant in Indianapolis, but Marshall had no profit from the venture and decided to leave the business. Let's see. Everybody's digging the badge for sure. Bill, yes, they made those wheels with friction. I have one in green. It's much more warped than yours. And both are front bumpers are okay. So he got one for $10 at Carlisle. That was a smoking deal. Old School's here. Zach loves the website too. Yeah, it's a great website. If you haven't been there, check it out. It's awesome. And they got all this cool information on there that I can share with you guys as well. The customer of the Standard Wheel Company, David Parry, who had earlier tried to build his own automobile, decided to give financial support to Cox to develop the Overland. and the Overland Automobile Company was organized in March of 1906. Production began, but then came the financial crisis and panic of 1907. David Pirey was badly hit and lost everything, although he later recovered and went on to build the Pirey automobile. Tony's here with us. John Willys was an automotive dealer who had bought all of the Overland production for 1906 and had sent an advance of $10,000 with an order for 500 cars in 1907, but none had arrived. He came to Indianapolis, saw what had happened, and took over the Overland Automobile Company. He used a circus tent as a temporary factory and built 465 four-cylinder cars in 1908. In January 1909, Cox left, and Willys built 4,907 cars, some of which were a new 45 horsepower six-cylinder. In 1909, Willys consolidated all of his interests into a new company called the Willys Overland Company, with a plant in Toledo, Ohio. In 1910, production tripled to over 15,000 cars and continued over 48,000 by 1914. So obviously, Willys knew what he was doing when he got a hold of the Overland Company. In 1917, Willys announced plans to produce a low-price four-cylinder Overland to challenge the Model T Ford, but John Willys was busy buying companies and expanding his business empire as the head of the Willys Corporation, and a serious strike at the Toledo plant delayed the new Overland model until 1919, when it was too late to effectively compete with the Model T. Then the post-First World War recession hit hard. Willys had to go to the banks for financial support, which was agreed to subject to Walter P. Chrysler being brought in to manage the Willys business. 2 years later, John Willys made his way back to the top of Willys Overland and revitalized the Overland. The Overland became a larger, more powerful, and more attractive automobile. Sales soared from nearly 50,000 cars in 1921 to over 150,000 by 1925. Then in 1927, the Whippet arrived, and the Overland name was dropped until it reemerged briefly in 1939 for a line of low-priced four-cylinder cars that became the Willys Americar by 1941. All other cars succeeding the Overland carried the Willys name. Overland also produced delivery vans from 1908 to 1927. So a little bit of brief history on the Willys Company. Hopefully you guys got something out of that, learned a little bit to go along with this super cool badge with great colors on it. So, Bill, ask a question if everyone go for a separate auction night. Yeah, and we've been talking about that, Bill, and I think at some point we're going to get there. I don't think we're quite there yet, but I think we're working that direction. We've talked about it a little bit. I just don't think we're quite there yet. So, Tony said loves the Willys, yeah. But anyway, there's the badge for the Overland from the Willys Overland Corporation. From, like I said, most of the Willys and the Overlands and the teens up into the mid-20s use this badge. So, anyway, there it is, the Willys Overland badge from the teens up into the mid-20s. Beautiful piece. This one has a little bit of chipping in the white right here, but still a great badge. Obviously, cool, excited to have that one in our collection. So, Alan, one reason those badges were around was that from 1910 to 1918, Willys Overland was second or third in sales. 1919, Chevy took over the number 2 spot. So there again, you guys can even add to the research that I can find. So super excited about that. It's always great when you guys can contribute that way too. The next badge, we're going to actually jump up a few years, as we always do, to a car that was actually made, and I knew they had been made for a long time, but I didn't realize they were made quite this long. They were made for 20 years, basically. And on top of that, it's a German car. As you guys know, I don't really do much foreign stuff at all, but I do have some like Volkswagens and stuff. Of course, my daughter loves bugs. Of course, I think all kids love bugs. So we've got some good bugs and have a few Volkswagens sitting around. You know, you guys know I brought the rabbits in. So this next badge is actually a Volkswagen badge for a Volkswagen model that was built for almost 20 years. I knew they were built for several years, but I didn't realize they were built for almost 20 years. Very unique car, very popular little car, and really a pretty attractive car that they came up with. I didn't realize these cars came out in the mid-50s. They were actually designed in the early 50s, came out in the mid-50s, built into the mid-70s of the Volkswagen Carmen Ghia. Big job. How long would you think an auction night would be, and what would be a good night for everyone? And there again, like I said, we're still kicking that around, and I think we need to get a few more people on that would be interested in doing the auction before we're going to do a whole auction night on it. But this Carmen Ghia badge, this was on the front fender on the right side. Like I said, I didn't realize they made these cars for basically almost 20 years. This is actually off of one that I drug into the yard. That's right. This is a cool badge. Actually, it's a groovy badge. It is 3.5 inches long, 1.25 inches tall. So 3.5 by 1.25 inches. The Ghia is very bright with the red and the blue against the black with the Karmann. And like I said, they made these things for almost 20 years. It was marketed as a 2+2 coupe from 55 to 74 and the 2+2 convertible from 57 to 74. Body styles by Volkswagen, internally designated T14. The Karmann Ghia combined the chassis and mechanicals of the Type 1 Beetle with styling by Italy's Carrozzeria Ghia and hand-built bodywork by Karmann. This is something kind of interesting. Like I said, they made these cars for almost 20 years. But there was a little bit of interesting tidbit of information. Alec digs it. It is in great condition. It's a beautiful piece. It is flat. It is a stud mount. It's just like barrel nuts. They snapped in on this one. But one thing that I thought was very interesting, I was doing just a little tiny bit of research on these things. Like I said, I didn't have a ton of time. Was that the last year that these cars were sold in 1974? Like I said, these were marketed as a 2+2 sports car, 2-seater in the front, 2-seater in the rear. In 1974, they removed the rear seat and sold them strictly as a 2-seater. That's kind of weird. Why would you sell a car for 19 years, 18 years, and all of a sudden yank the rear seat out in the last year of production and sell them as a 2-passenger? They didn't have to put seatbelts in them, and they wouldn't. So they had to be a 2-passenger car for the last year. So I thought that was very interesting. Little tidbit of information about the Ghia. The Karmann Ghia. These were produced, like I said, from 55 to 74. Almost 450,000 of these were built. So Mark says, add buckets to the back. Maybe, yeah, I'm sure you could. Christian is on for, we got Christian on from Germany on Facebook with us. So glad you made it tonight. So they made a lot of them. Of course, they made them for almost 20 years, but 445,238 built. So they did make a lot of them. I do have a couple of them in the yard. But like I said, a neat little car. They've definitely got a good following, and they are an attractive little car. Frank says Karmann still makes a VW convertible even. So, like I said, we always try to shake it up a little bit for the next badge. So that's kind of what I thought we would do, kind of throw you a curveball with the Karmann Ghia badge from, I think this was probably late 60s, maybe early 70s. Jeff just says they must have ran out of back seats. Yeah. I guess that's one way to reduce the build cost. Just quit putting seats in them. But kind of a neat piece, colorful badge. Like I said, kind of mix it up a little bit tonight for something a little bit different. It is kind of cool the way it's embossed on the back and then has the enameling put in it. So there you go. Tonight's badges. The Overland from the Willis Overland Company and the Karmann Ghia from Volkswagen. Randy says looks to be 69 to 71 for that particular badge. Okay, that clarifies it. I thought it was late 60s, early 70s, 69 to 71. Must be pretty close. So, but cool piece. Christian says the factory is in Osnabrück, where they build the convertible cars. There again, and that's what's so awesome. We literally have a viewer on from Germany who can help shed light on some of this stuff, and with the new Karmann convertibles that are being built, things like that. So. That's what's so awesome about it is all the information that we get from all of you guys that add to what we're doing. So, Big Job said he's seen one on a mud truck too. I bet that was interesting. So Osnabrück is where they're building the convertible cars. I assume that's probably now on the newer Karmann convertibles that was just brought up. How about a Hudson badge? All right, who's ready for some auction time? Auction time. We got cool stuff tonight, as always, and kind of a mixture. I've actually got a porcelain sign for tonight. It's a small one and it's rough, but it's a cool porcelain sign. And it's going to have to bring something because I had to pay decent money for it, even though it's rough. So I at least got to get most of my money back out of it. So, but yeah, cans, got a hood ornament, got mash books, got emblems. We got all kinds of cool stuff. Oh, license plates. We got a super cool license plate coming up too. So keep that in mind as well. And we'll get ready to roll here. And as always, we'll go over the auction details, kind of fill everybody in real quick on what we've got going on here. I will hold up an item we will look at it. We will talk about it. We will look at the condition. We will give you the dimensions on it if we're not sure on size. We'll look at it all the way around. We'll talk about why it's here, what it's cool about it. And once we start talking about that, you guys can start bidding on it. After I get done describing it, I will put it on a 2-minute timer. Now, everybody has a delay to deal with. You will have to figure out what your particular delay is. Some of it's 5 or 10 seconds. Some guys have a 30-second delay. But after I get done with the description of it, I will put this on a timer on my iPhone. I will just hit this, and we will start counting this down. I will tell you when 1 minute has passed, and I will tell you when 1:20 has passed. And then we hit that 1:30 mark. When we hit that 1:30 mark, and I tell you a minute 30 has passed, depending on your delay, we may be down to the last few seconds. So when I tell you that a minute 20 has passed and a minute 30 has passed, it is time to hit with your max bid. If something's at $40 and you're going to get 50, you probably better go close to 50, because if you hit it at 42, you're probably going to get sniped. Because once some of these guys are getting their delays down pat, and I'm getting bids literally coming in at 156, 158, because these guys are getting really good. So this is what I will be watching as things are taking along, watching for the 2 minutes to come up. And then once we hit 2 minutes, the top bid is who has it. I will announce that. We will go on to the next item. I will make my notes, keep track of who got it. As always, I will be watching on Facebook and YouTube, so I may be taking a bid from YouTube or Facebook that you may not see on your screen. So please keep that in mind. If we get any trolls on here, I will not take their bids. So if you see somebody making a bunch of stupid comments and then they start throwing bids out there, I will ignore those. Also, non-U.S. buyers, you are more than welcome to bid. However, you will have to figure out how to get me paid, because wire transfer costs money. It's got to be drawn on a U.S. institution, whatever that costs, and then you will be responsible for shipping. The purpose of the auctions is to kind of support themselves. The money that it makes, I can buy more stuff to kind of help keep it going. But if we end up spending all our money on non-U.S. shipping and payments, then that kind of monkeys it up for everybody. So you're more than welcome to play. If you would like to buy for a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks and get a load put together before you, so you can do payment and shipping at one time, that's fine. Just let me know that's what your plans are, so that I'm not expecting something until we get a few things done and ready to go. So when we are doing the auctions, if you make a comment about something else and I don't get to it right away, it's because, especially once we get past that minute 30 mark, I'm basically looking at nothing but numbers. If it's not a number that pops up on one of my screens, I'm not paying attention to it, because I want everybody that's bidding, I want to be as fair as I possibly can with them. So, Big Job had an expensive week between what he bought on the auctions and the sign that he bought. So imports didn't have to have seatbelts till 74. I'm not sure on that, Pete. Don't really know. So that's just what it said in the article that I found. Let's see. Jason's got the knives for the snipers. Bill, we had a car get drag car, call it Swiss cheese, because they had it all drilled out. So anyway, Scott, any racing programs? No racing programs. Actually, I don't really have a lot of extra racing programs. One I've got the ones I have are kind of ones that I bought to keep. So, but anyway, kind of the basic auction rules. As always, if you got questions, don't hesitate to throw them up there. I'll sure try to get to them. Or if you buy some stuff and you're not sure how to get it handled, you can always call me tomorrow. My number's in the description part of these videos, 620-786-4428. And like I said, we'll make sure it all works. So don't worry about it. If there's something you want to bid on, don't freak out about it. If you're not sure, just call me tomorrow and we'll get it all sorted out. It's not a big deal. So anyway, let's get started here. We'll start off, as always, with a couple of small things so everybody can kind of figure out where their delay is at and what we've got going on. In fact, let's start off with something. Let's start off with some matchbooks. Let's start off with matchbooks again tonight, because it's something that's a little bit cheaper item. And that's another thing I try to do. I mix in some stuff. We've got some cheaper pieces, and we've also got some more expensive pieces. I got some pieces tonight. They're going to have to bring a minimum amount, or I won't sell them because they're too cool. I'm definitely not going to lose money to get rid of cool pieces. I got to get my money back out of them, or I'll put them on my shelf. So we'll start off with some matchbooks and kind of get things rolling, so you guys can kind of figure out where your delays are at and see how things are going. But we'll start off with some service station matchbooks. You guys that haven't been on here with us lately, I bought a whole ton of cool matchbooks here not too long ago. So we'll start off with a batch of those. Starting off with the Commercial Truck Stop in Haines City, Florida for 76. Got the big orange ball 76 on this big truck stop matchbook on here. This is blank on the inside. It is a standard size matchbook with the big orange 76 ball on it. The next one is for the Brown Garage. The Fireproof Brown Garage, 1,200 car capacity with complete auto service. The Brown Hotel and the Brown Garage, Des Moines, Iowa. This has got some really cool graphics on it. 1,200 car capacity, complete auto service. So apparently it was a parking garage with a service center and everything in it in Des Moines, Iowa. On the inside of this one, they've got advertising the coffee shop on the inside. So hotel, auto service, and coffee shop all on the same matchbook. And one more for Larry's Atlantic Station. This is pretty cool because it's actually got the station on it. So it actually has an Atlantic service station on it. For driving power, fill up with Atlantic High Arc, the better gasoline on the inside. So that's what we've got. If anybody's interested in those, if not, maybe that's too small. Maybe nobody's a player on these. I know some people have thought they were pretty cool. I know in the past people have liked them, but I got Jason at 10. So Jason's going to go ahead and start us off at 10 on the set, all for one money. Because like I said, these aren't high dollar things, and I know that. But that's why we're getting started with something small. So there we go. We are on the 2-minute timer. I've got Jason at 10. I'm going to make my notes so I can keep track on my log of what we've got going here. So I'm going to log all this on my notepad so I can try to keep things straight as we tick along on the matchbooks to get things rolling. All right. X-Ray Dean's here. Well, you're just in time for the auctions, X-Ray. So on the set of matchbooks, Jason may be our only player on these at 10, but that's fine. They're cool pieces, but that's the point of getting in some stuff that's not super high dollar so everybody can add some stuff to their collection as well. So, and coming up on the 1-minute mark on the matchbooks. Norman says hit the like button. Appreciate that. Just past the 1-minute mark. Jason at 10 on the matchbooks. And ticking along so everybody can follow what's happening. Coming up on the minute 20 mark. And a minute 30 has now passed. We're at the minute 30 mark, so be thinking about your maximum bids if anybody's going to jump in on this or let Jason have them. 20 seconds to go. Jason at 10. 10 seconds left to go. Looks like we're we'll mark these to Jason for 10. Nope, Dennis is in at 11 right there at the end of the wire. And Jason at 12, with her at 12 and barely got that. That was quick, Jason, because it was like 200 when that $12 came in. Jason, I don't know how you snuck that back in there, that or you had it loaded in and just hit it anyway, thinking you were going to get outbid. But you snuck back in on it just barely. Yeah, exactly. Whew, that was close. Super close. That's right, Bill. This is good warm-up. That's kind of what it was. That's exactly what it was. I knew they weren't going to bring $100. Didn't expect them to. Start out with a few smaller things, get everybody kind of in the groove, figure out where things are going, make sure everybody's system is working. There's some nights the systems are so screwed up that it doesn't hardly work. So we'll start off with another little small piece to kind of keep things rolling. This is for our Ford guys. Always ask for genuine Lincoln Mercury Comet parts from the McCoy Skaggs Company in Dodge City, Kansas. So, yep, an ashtray from the McCoy Skaggs Company in Dodge City, Kansas for Lincoln Mercury and Comet parts. Jason says he can't reveal his secrets. That's right. John says that was like the Wild West. It kind of was. It was like, bam, bam, done. Over. So, this ashtray, Lincoln Mercury Comet parts for the McCoy Skaggs Company in Dodge City, Kansas. Norma's starting us off at 10 on it. It is just a tick over 5 inches. And a little over 4 tall. So there's your dimensions on it. Andy says ashtrays are getting rare and collectible. Yeah, especially ones that have, actual car advertising on it. There's a few scuffs on it, but it doesn't look like it was ever really used regularly. You guys can all see that clearly. Dennis at 15. The backside also looks good. I mean, it's kind of worn off on the nubs where it would sit, but it's not all beat up or bent up. Norma at 20. Let's go ahead and kick this thing off. We've all got a chance to take a look at it. Let's get it live. We are going. I've got Norma at 20. Dennis at 23. As we tick along on this, we better slide some badges in here for you guys. I'm getting a little thirsty out there. Gail's on with us. They're driving, but they're on with us. Glad you're here, Gail. Shopcat says, I take up smoking just to use that. I don't know if taking up smoking would be a good plan or not, but it is a cool piece. Norma's back in at 25. As we are coming up on the 1 minute mark. And there we go. 1 minute has now passed. Throw something's here. 1 minute has passed. That's right. Big Job says there's going to be bloodshed. He's ready to go. He's waiting to see what's going to happen. Norma at 25. It is a cool piece. There's no doubt about that. John's in at 26. New blood. Minute 20 has passed. And we are coming up on the minute 30 mark. Getting close. 1 minute, 30 seconds has now passed. Norma's back in at 30. We are just past the minute 30 mark. Dennis is at 30 as well, but I already had Norma first. 20 seconds left to go on the ashtray. Norma at 30. 15. Tweely D at 37. 10 seconds left to go. 5 seconds. Just about done, and that does it. Tweedly D at 37. Tweedly D just sat there at the end, threw his number out, and away he goes. So, cool piece. Little Auburn Badge. All right, let's keep moving. About time to do some emblems. Oh, I got something we've never done ever on here, I don't think. We're going to do it in a little bit after we get a few more things out of the way. What should we do next? I got a piece here that it's rough, but it's cool. It's actually got a couple holes rusted through it, but it is definitely a cool piece. It still presents well, and pretty excited about it. That I wish it was a little bit better, but it's still a great piece. I've actually got this can intact, so this I can sell. But this is definitely a patina piece. But this was a can that somebody took apart and flattened out, which means you can hang it anywhere. It is a fleet can from the El Rico Motor Oil Company, which was El Dorado, Kansas. John says Rusty Hole sounds like everything else. And it is got cool graphics on it. Race cars and airplanes, which is never a bad thing. It was a 5 U.S. quart can originally of Fleet motor oil from the El Rico Motor Oil Company in El Dorado, Kansas. So you guys can kind of see this thing is a little rough. Obviously, big rust hole here. But race cars and airplanes. The El Rico badge looks good, which is cool. It is basically flat. Back is just surface rust. So, don't know if there's any interest in this piece or not. It is kind of different, but it is kind of a neat piece. You know, it's obviously not a can anymore, but it means you can also hang it anywhere, just like a small sign. So, anyway, I love the fact that the El Rico looks good. We got some other El Rico stuff coming up, not on here, but we got some El Rico stuff that I'm going to share with you. So, Zach's going to kick us off at 10. Tim, isn't rust a standard option? On some things, it is kind of a standard option. But this is a cool piece. And it's a little bit different, but it's a cool piece. So I got Zach starting us off at 10. Let's go ahead and kick this thing on the timer and see if anybody else likes it or if it's just Zach. We are live. We are working towards that 2 minutes right now. I'm going to get my notes caught up here. Oh, John says, well, that's definitely not a repop. Yep, that's true. It's not a repop. Zach says if it's rust and dust and barn dust, he's all for it. Actually, that's where this came from. It was like patching a wall or something. Alec is in at 15 on Facebook. So I've got Alec at 15 on the fleet. And we're coming up on the 1 minute mark. And 1 minute has now passed. Alec at 15 on the flattened out fleet can. One minute 20 has passed, almost to that minute 30 mark. 1 minute 30 seconds has now passed. So Alec at 15 on the flattened fleet can. 20 seconds left to go. Zach at 16. 15 seconds left to go. Coming down to 10. Zach at 16. Jason at 18, and that does it. That was 2-0-0 on that one, Jason. Zach came back in at 21, but I had Jason at 18 at 2-0-0. So that's unfortunately the only way I can be fair about it. I'd rather take Zach's money, but I had Jason at the end. So Jason's kind of deadly tonight. Oof. I mean, those have both been right. I mean, almost dead on the wire. How about some emblems? Time to do some emblems. Zach says we know he doesn't have much of a delay, but he needs to drink some more wild turkey. Slow him down a little bit. So let's do some Chevy badges. 3 badges in this bundle. And like I've been doing with a lot of these, I'm going to throw a plastic one in just for the heck of it. This is just a basic gold plastic one. John says Jason has enough Hudson badge to slow him down. 4.5 inches by about 1.5 inches on just the flat mount gold Chevrolet badge. Better get another Hudson badge up there. John says we need to get more for Jason to slow him down. The next piece, this is a horn button for like a 64 Chevy, I think. This is a flat mount deal. This is a plastic center. It's got kind of a cool Chevy badge with kind of the wings. Almost look like a 54 hood badge with just a black background and a silver bow tie. But that's kind of the outline of like the 54 would have had with these like wings off the sides. Zach started us off at 10. This was a horn button. It's got a mark at 64 Impala is what it came out of. The clip is gone out of the back, so this has been glued back in because the mounting clip is what held it. So it is flat on the back, so you can mount it somewhere. Zach started us off at 10. We got one more badge to go over. And this is a Biscayne from, once again, an early 60s era, 61, 62 probably era Chevrolet Biscayne. Alec at 15 on the Chevrolet badge bundle. This is a let me give you the dimensions on it, so you know how long this is. This is 10.5. This is 10.5 inches long. Beautiful chrome. It is flat. The stud mount. Nuts are still on it. So, Chevy badge bundle. Basic plastic one, the 64 horn button, and the Biscayne. I've got Alec at 15, so we're going to go ahead and kick this thing off, get it rolling, and we are live on the Chevy badge bundle. John says that Biscayne is sexy and nice. Yep. Anthony finished a 94 F-250 today. Rhino line the entire truck in Raptor red. That's a lot of Rhino lining. Tony says 61 Biscayne used that. I think 61 and maybe 62 as well. So all three pieces. I better get my notes made here. Alec at 15. Jason, right now I'm on Dayquil, a touch of turkey, and a little Pabst. Holy cow. I'm surprised Jason's even coherent with us at all. As we come up on the 1 minute mark, I've got Alec at 15 on the Chevy badge bundle. 1 minute has now passed. I'll give you an Auburn badge to think about in the meantime. And 1 minute 20 has passed. I've got Alec at 15 on the Chevy badges. One minute 30 has passed. We are on the backside of this thing. If you're thinking about jumping in, now is the time. Alec at 15. 20 seconds left to go. 15 seconds left. Alec going to walk out of here that easy? Zach's in at 25. 10 seconds left to go. Pete at 29. Coming down to the wire on this. Zach at 35, and that does it. That was a 2-0-0 one there too, Zach. Zach at 35. You guys are getting tough and good. John, now park his wife's car in the garage, says he got the Rambler done and moved it out of the carport. Looks weird in there. He thinks he's got one more restoration in him. right, we've got a couple of license plates tonight. This one is there again. We're still kind of in the introductory area, so we'll start off with more of a basic one. I got a killer license plate coming up in a little while. We've done a few of these in the past. There again, these aren't crazy high dollar pieces, but they're great collectors, and these are kind of rare. These are the D tags. We've done a few D tags on here in the past. D20 was the dealer number. AU was the net plate number for that particular dealer. So let's see. Lots of comments popping up. Anthony, are we doing a square body Chevy next? No, we're not doing a square body Chevy. So like I said, this is a standard size D plate, dealer plate from 1984. So this is standard size. It actually has a sticker on the back from Ray Shepherd Motor Company in Fort Scott, Kansas. So kind of crazy to think that a plate from 84 is now almost 40 years old. But it is. So it's weird, I know. Whiskey says that's 1 year younger than me. Basic 12-inch by 6-inch. Norma's starting us at 20. Lee's in at 20. Zach is over depressed now. I know the feeling. Norma's in at 20. Lee was in at 20, but after Norma, let's go ahead and kick it off. We are live. This is a white plate, black numerals. Nothing fancy. It's just a D plate, which makes it, a lot more rare than a standard plate. Obviously, it's 40 years old. Norma, that's the year they graduated. But perfect. So, Norma at 20 on the 1984 Kansas D plate. Obviously, they made plenty of these, but they were dealer only. It wasn't like literally a regular car tag where everybody had one. So, Pete graduated in 85. X-Ray Dean bought first new car in 84. Norma the Knife says, big job. Yep, she can be pretty brutal, and she's pretty good. So, but on the 1984 Kansas D plate, and we're just past the 1 minute mark. So, got Norma at 20. One minute, 20 seconds has now passed. We're just about to that minute 30 mark. Ticking up on it. I've got Norma at 20. And a minute 30 has now passed. $20 seconds to go. Tweedledee at 30. 15 seconds left to go. 10. Norma at 35. 5 seconds left. Norma at 35. Lee came in at 31, but that wasn't enough to do it, and that does it. Lee came in at 201 with 36 right after I sold it to Norma at 35. Norma was coming back at him too, just in case, but at 200, I had Norma at 35. Auburn Badge. We've done some of these once before, and you guys seem to like them, so we're going to do a couple more and see what you think of these. Dealer badges. I know some of you guys like these dealer badges. I've got 3 of them. It's going to be a badge bundle of dealer badges, and these are all pretty slick. 1 plastic, 2 metal. First one, the Hurl Chevrolet Company, Goodland, Kansas. This one is plastic. It is 6 inches by 1.5 inches. It is flat plastic mount, double-sided tape mount, Hurl Chevrolet, Goodland, Kansas. The next one is a Ford. Doug's here with us. Courtesy Ford, Inglewood and Littleton. This had screw holes in it, so it would screw on. No studs on the back. Flat mount. This is metal. It is $6 1/4 for the Courtesy Ford dealership badge. The last one is the Jim Sullivan Chevrolet Company from Salina, Kansas. This also was screw mount. 2 holes right here, 4 screws. Beautiful chrome. It has the Chevrolet bow tie on it. It is 6 3/8. So, Pearl Chevrolet in plastic, Jim Sullivan Chevrolet in metal, and Courtesy Ford in metal on these dealer badges. Yes, Englewood, Littleton, I think, is Colorado. I think it's just outside of Denver because there's a suburb called Littleton just outside of Denver. So I think this is Colorado. So I don't know how many companies made them. But I mean, I'm sure there are multiple places you could order them. So anyway, anybody going to start us off on the dealer badges, or do we throw them back in the pile and add more to them later? So Mark says just south of Denver proper. So anyway, what's anybody think on the dealer badges? If nobody wants them, we're throwing them back in the box. I don't have a problem with that either, because these are some pretty nice ones. I love them when they actually have the car listed on them. So yeah, David W. is going to jump in and get us rolling at 10. So Mark's in at 15. Okay, so there is, I was like, how can nobody not be bidding on these with the car manufacturers on them? So we've got Mark at 15. All 3 of them won money. Let's go ahead and kick them off. We are live on the timer as of right now. I've got Mark at 15 on the dealer badges. Tweet this as the snipers are waiting. Yep, we'll see. And that's fine, but somebody's got to get me started too, or I don't think anybody's interested in them. So I know a lot of you guys want to just kind of sit there and don't want to show your cards, but I also got to know whether anybody's even interested in something or not, because sometimes there's been a few things that nobody was really thought was as cool as I did. So as we're coming up on the 1 minute mark, 1 minute has now passed. That's right, Kenny. Snipers are as snipers do. Mark at 15 on the dealer badge bundle. And 1:20 has now passed. Time to be thinking about those bids. Surely they're not going to let Mark walk out of here with these for $15. 1:30 is now gone. Time to be thinking about those max bids if you're going to jump in on these. $20 seconds left to go. 15. We're coming down to the wire. 10. Zach at 16. 5. David W. at 21, and that will do it. Charles hit it at 2 minutes, but it was at the 20. I had David W. at 21. And then Alec at 23 over here. So they were all sitting there waiting. Mark, you accidentally shut the program off. That didn't work out too well. All right, let's do another can. And then we got some really cool stuff. I'm kind of working up to some really super cool stuff. So we'll do this can, then we'll kind of start working in some other bigger items too. We'll give you an Auburn badge, and we're going to give you a Hudson badge at the same time. Okay. This next can, I had a couple of these, but this is the last one I'm going to sell. I've got a couple that I kept. We sold one earlier. This is the last one I'm going to sell. And I kept a couple of them because this is one of my favorite lines of cans. The old red and black GM cans from the 60s and up into the early 70s. You guys will probably remember I got a few of these cans with a batch that I bought of all those parts I was buying from my buddy on these little GM vinyl top cleaner cans. This is a smaller can. It is 5 1/4 all the way to the top of the cap. The can itself is 4 3/4 by 2 3/4. So 4 3/4 by 2 3/4 on the GM vinyl top cleaner can. Non-flammable, keep out of reach of children on the back of this with the instructions. This is a paper labeled can. It does have some discoloring on it. Original cap. It is empty, but it is a cool can. So, and I don't see anybody bidding on it. And if nobody bids on this one, that means I get to throw it back in my stack and keep it with the rest of mine. So we'll see if anybody's going to, oh, yeah, Dennis screwed that up. Dennis is in at $20. So I guess that means we got to sell it. That's one thing you guys got to think about. If it's something too cool, I'll throw it back in the pile and I'll keep it because a lot of the stuff I like. I kept 2 of these, and I think we sold one earlier. I think this is the last one that we're going to sell. Tweedledee D at 22, and we are going to kick this thing off. We are live on the timer. Tweedledee D at 22 is our high bidder. Cap still there. Bottom still good. GM vinyl top cleaner has the part number on it. Net contents half U.S. pint. That's right, Kenny. You only need to buy 8 cans to do a regular convertible top. That's probably true. As we're coming up on the 1 minute mark on the GM vinyl top can, Tweedledee at 22. And there we are. 1 minute has now passed. So be thinking about it if you're going to jump in on this thing. Tweedledee at 22 on the GM top cleaner can. Dennis at 25. Like I said, I personally love this era of can. It's what I grew up on. So anything, every time I find GM cans like this, if I don't have them, I snag them. Sometimes I buy them and I do have them just so I have more. But and we're just about to the 1 minute and 30 second point. If you're going to be thinking about jumping in, now is the time. 1 minute, 30 seconds has passed. Alec at 24, but I've already got Dennis at 25 on the GM can. Dennis at 25 is my high bidder. $15 seconds left to go. Dennis at 25, 10 seconds. 5, just about done with this one. Dennis at 25. And that does it. Dennis at 25. John, have you ever heard of the Plymouth 69 did something called the Mod Top? Yep, I've seen several. I haven't seen a bunch of them. I've seen a few of them. I was standing there when they sold one for $440,000. I watched that car sell. That was pretty impressive. Because Meekum sold a Mod Top for $400 plus fees. I think it was $440 is what that car sold for out of the Giuliano collection a few years ago. So, yep, I've seen a few Mod Tops in my day. Know exactly what they are. All right. Everybody good and warmed up? Ready for some cool stuff? We'll mix in some other stuff, but I got some cool stuff. Let's do something I don't think we've ever done this before. We've talked about them a lot. We've given some away, but I don't think we've ever auctioned one. I think you guys are going to dig it. If you do dig it, let me know, and I'll find some more of different variations. But And I personally love these things. I've had some hanging up here over the years. We've talked about them on Toy Tuesdays. I think they're awesome memorabilia. I think they're so cool. It's super cool memorabilia that most people don't even think about. And that's why I love them. They are different. But I've got a pretty decent sized collection myself. And I've got a few duplicates, and that's what we've got here tonight. I'm going to throw up a duplicate and see if any of you guys like these items as well as much as I do. That particular piece would be valve covers. Anybody dig valve covers as much as this guy does? Oh, number one won a trivia contest for that. Yeah, that's right. We did use that for a trivia question. Jason says this guy does too. Who loves Oldsmobile rockets? This has some dings and dents in it. There's some dents over here, dent up here, dent over here. But hey, this thing was on an engine for years. Zach is not messing around. He's already got $25 up on this thing. It is still pretty flat. The back's still a little crusty. This was a center mount bolt. But I love valve covers personally. I've got Hemi valve covers, Cadillac valve covers. I mean, anything that says anything, if it has script stamped in it, I'm down with it. 348 valve covers, 409 valve covers. I love valve covers. I think they're one of the most underrated pieces of memorabilia out there. Bill Disc at 35. John, yes, made a key holder out of a valve cover. Well, it's a spark plug to it. So, anyway, the Oldsmobile rocket valve cover, it is solid. It's not rusted out. Just some dings and dents. Could definitely still be refinished or just hang it up the way it is. It is just a hair over 20 inches long. And 5.5 wide. So, like I said, I love this stuff. I think they're underrated. There's so many cool ones out there. I'm going to try to find a few more. I've got a few more laying around here and there. But I did come across this Oldsmobile. It is a duplicate. Yeah, the 235 valve cover. Shopcat's got one of those. And those say Chevrolet on them. Those aren't a bad-looking piece either. John, that would make the coolest desk lamp cover. Yeah, it would. So let's kick it off. I've got Tweedly D at 40, and we are live on the Oldsmobile Rocket valve cover. Shopcat traded a set of Pontiac Finn Holly valve covers for a whole 65 Polara. Jason used to do valve cover races at car cruises. Zach at 45 on the Olds valve cover. As we're ticking along on this one, see what you guys think. I've actually got a couple of cool Oldsmobile pieces tonight, believe it or not. As we're ticking along, we're coming up on the 1 minute mark. 1 minute has now passed on the Oldsmobile Rocket valve cover. I've got Zach at 45. And 1 minute, 20 seconds has passed. So if you're going to jump in there and snipe Zach, now's the time to be thinking about it. As we come on that 1 minute 30 mark, and 1 minute 30 has now passed, I've got Zach at 45 as my high bidder. $20 seconds left to go. 15. Zach at 45. 10 seconds left. 5 seconds. Brian at 56. And that does it. Brian came in there at 56. And Zach came right back, but we were past the 2 minute mark. So Brian snuck that one in right there at the end. All right, lots of comments popping up. Let me get to those. Okay, like I said, when we're doing auctions, I'm only watching numbers. So let me check a lot of these other comments, see if there's anything else we need to catch up. Rico just got here. Rico and Jess just got on with us. Yeah, Brian kind of snuck that one in. Chad, we're going to follow the F&E auction. I don't have Facebook. We have a channel as well, F&E Collector Auto Auction on YouTube, or the website is feclassiccarauction.com. Okay. Rico was trying to get in on that one too. All right. I told you, we got some cool stuff tonight. Anybody like Ford badges? I know we got some guys that like Ford badges. Let's do some Ford truck stuff. Big jobs there, right? Yep. 3 badges, all metal, Ford truck. 2 of them kind of go together. These are Ranger XLT. So this is kind of a set. These are the same font. So I'm assuming these. I got them in a box of emblems. So I'm assuming these go together. They're very nice pieces. Bright chrome, stud mount on the back, as well as an F100. 70s era, I would assume. It's also all metal. Nice chrome on it. Stud mount on the back on that one as well. So the XLT, I guess, has 1 broken stud. So I think these are all 70s era. They are all metal. They all have nice chrome. All Ford truck stuff, all in one shot. And I've got Alec at 20 on the Ford truck badge bundle. All for one. Alec at 20, kicking us off. Mark at 30. Let's go ahead and kick this thing off. Get her on the timer. Mark at 30. Bill, I used to take the R off the Ranger, so it said anger, and put it back on the truck. Brian, yep, this is all 70 stuff. 73 to 77 is what he's saying. We are live on these. I've got Mark at 30. All right, Mark at 30 as we're ticking away on the Ford truck badge bundle. As we're working our way towards the 1 minute mark. Ticking along here, coming up on 1 minute mark at 30 on the Ford truck badge bundle. All 3, 1 money. One minute, 20 seconds has now passed. Mark at 30. And we've hit the minute 30 mark. If you're thinking about jumping in on these, now is the time. 1 minute, 30 seconds has passed. Mark at 30 is our high bidder on the F100, the Ranger, and the XLT badge. All for 1 money. 20 seconds left to go. Mark at 30. 15 seconds left. 10. Big job at 39. 5 seconds left to go. And that does it. Big job at 39. We're getting so many emblems. I'm trying to keep them taped together in bundles when I sell them to you guys so I don't get them mixed up. So I always get them taped back up, keep it all square. All right. Let's do another can. We did one of these earlier. Let's do when I found these in the barn, but I had another one that cleaned up pretty decent. On the Co-op 1 gallons. So we've got some more of these that we're keeping, but this one cleaned up pretty decent. It's got a little more surface rust on this side. This is a 1 gallon dairy and stock spray Co-op can. Little surface rust on top, does have the original cap on it. Instructions on the side. On the 1 gallon Co-op. So we'll see if we got anybody interested in the Co-op can. Let's see. Let me make sure I'm caught up on comment. Pig Job likes the pint cans. How about one of those right there? All right. Dennis at 20 on the Co-op can. How about an Auburn Badge? We got Dennis at 20 starting us off on the dairy and stock spray on the Co-op. Let's go ahead and kick this thing off. Get it rolling. I've got Dennis at 20. Shop Cat at 25. And as you remember, these came directly out of that old barn that I dug a bunch of cans out of. No, it is empty. Shop Cat at 25. You hear it kind of tinny because it's empty. So on the Co-op. Dennis at 26. And we're coming up on the 1 minute mark. 1 minute has now passed on the Co-op can. I've got Dennis at 26. One minute, 20 seconds has now passed. Dennis at 26 on the Co-op. As 1 minute, 30 seconds has now passed. We're coming down to the wire on it. Dennis at 26. Anthony, how do you pay? Check, money order, PayPal, friends and family, Western Union, whatever works for you. 20 seconds left to go. Any of those work for you? Or just call me tomorrow and we can figure it out. 15 seconds left to go. But check, money order, Western Union, PayPal, friends and family is what most people do. 10 seconds left to go. Dennis at 26. 5. And that does it. Dennis at 26. All right, Hudson Badge. Yeah, I know you guys in Canada are definitely at a disadvantage with the exchange rate being out of whack and shipping. It's brutal on you guys. I understand that. Who wants to look at a sign? We got any sign guys? And this obviously is going to have to bring something because I had to pay decent money for it, even though it is rough. So, and trust me, if nobody wants it, it's not like I won't keep a sign. So we'll see what kind of interest you guys have in it. It is a double-sided flanged porcelain. And it is, like I said, it's a little rough. It's kind of a lot rough. But it's a small piece. It is shippable, which is very important for what we're trying to do. Anthony, interest of fairness, Canadians should be able to pay in maple syrup and hockey pucks. So we'll see if there's any interest in this sign. You guys tell me if there is, and if there is, it is going to be for sale. If I can at least get my money back out of it. If not, I will hang it on my wall. But it is a Bell system. Bell Telephone and Telegraph Companies and Associates. Check this thing out. So like I said, it is definitely rough, but it still has the bell on it. It is a flange. Alex, give us a thumbs up. He's ready to go. Double-sided, flanged. It's been bent. Porcelain is chipped. So let's see. Lots of people like the sign. Let's see if we get any. And the Eagle signage I'd be interested in. Well, let's see if anybody's interested in this one. Was a flange mount. I'm sure this went probably right up above a telephone, a payphone, an actual payphone. Back in the day. It is. X-Ray starting us off at 35. Now we got a little ways to go. That's a good start, but I've got a lot more than that in it. So it is 11 inches tall. Anthony's at 40. That's not going to do it. We'll see if we keep going, if we can get there, and see if we're going to do something with it. 11 inches tall by right at a foot wide. So Alex at 30. Tweeted. I just figured if it gets to my number, it'll be shipped. That'll include shipping. So, but we're still not there yet. So if we've got any other bids, we'll give it another shot. We'll give it another minute or so. See if we're going to get close enough to where we can get this thing sold, or if I'm going to keep it. So 45 nut. We're going to have to be. We're still a little ways off. We're pretty much going to have to be around $100 or a little better on this thing. So we're still a little ways off on it. So if anybody wants to jump in, that's fine. If not, it's a sign. So it's not like I'm not going to be opposed to keeping it, because what I've got in it and shipping and things like that, I got to get at least close to getting myself out of it. So that's Ozark Fox's ring. Yep. And the other thing about it is this actually is supposed to say Telephone and Telegraph Company, if that gives you any idea on age on this thing. So big job. Imagine how many people were mad at someone in the day and hit that sign when they got off the phone. That's a good point. I hadn't thought about that. So anyway, doesn't look like anybody else is too interested in it. So we'll keep an eye out here for a few more seconds, or if not, we'll move on to something else. All right. I guess nobody's that interested in the Bell Telephone porcelain. So, yep. It's not a problem. It's not like I won't keep a sign. So, let's do another can. This is an earlier metal can, all metal. It is new. It is full, so I will have to drain it. That's right. Too bad the porcelain wasn't in a little better shape. Of course, the porcelain was in a little better shape. It's a $250 to $300 sign. So, yeah, and we'll see what happens. I usually don't have to. Usually you guys are in and we get started, and then we usually get there. So I think that's only the second time that's happened that we weren't even close. So Usually it's not a big deal, and that's why I finally told everybody where we needed to be on it, because we weren't getting there. But that's only the second time that's happened. Usually, don't worry about it. Usually it goes, and we get there and we go with it. So, but this can, a loss leader, not when it's a sign. But this Conoco is an all-metal motor oil can. It's kind of an odd color. It's beige. It is new. It is still full. I will drain it. Kind of a green on top for diesel, but it's kind of an odd color. It's something a little bit different. Has the swoop down the side. Has the Conoco logo on the back. Conoco motor oil, net contents US 1 quart. Conoco S3 diesel oil. API service DS. Approved series diesel oil. Continental Oil Company, Houston, Texas, on the back. Bill disc is at 15. It is an all-metal can. Yes, it is all-metal, Tweedly Dee. So something kind of different. Bill disc at 15 on the Conoco motor oil can. And let's get this thing going. Bill disc at 15. And we are live. Dennis at 20. We are live on the timer on this one. This is a beautiful can. Dennis at 20 on the Conoco motor oil diesel can. Working towards the 2-minute mark on the Conoco can. We are live and on the timer. What should we sell next? What should we sell next? As we're coming up on the 1-minute mark, I've still got Dennis at 20 on this new Conoco all metal can as we cross the 1-minute threshold. Where are we located at? I'm in Great Bend, Kansas, where I'm at, right about in the middle of Kansas, where I'm based out of. And a minute 20 has now passed. Coming up on the minute 30 mark. And we've hit the minute 30 mark. Time to be thinking about that max bid. I've got Dennis at 20. This is a beautiful can. To let him walk out of here that easy at 20 bucks. Alec at 22. Tweedly Dee at 35. 15 seconds left to go. I've got Tweedly Dee at 35. Pete at 36. 10 seconds left to go. 5. And that does it. Pete at 36. All right. All right, we got something else that's a little bit different and super cool. Nope, no Easy Riders tonight, Sam. But we've done some dash pieces in here before, and this is a really cool dash piece. This one's been laying around for a while. I've been debating on what to do with it. I finally brought it in here last week. I didn't sell it last week, but I think I'm going to go ahead and show it to you guys and see what you guys think of it. A lot of potential for it with what you could do with it. It is an Oldsmobile piece, and it is super, super early. Check this thing out. Switch handles are broke. It's got this awesome Oldsmobile badge in it. Nothing here, nothing here. There is an old gauge over here that was an oil gauge, and I don't know if this was the ignition or what. I would assume that was the ignition part of it. So, it's kind of a cool piece. Do we have any interest in it? Because it is, like I said, there's multiple different things you could do with it. I doubt you would use it in an Oldsmobile, but you could if you had an Oldsmobile of this era. But you can put different things in the holes. It's got the awesome badge on it. So what's anybody think about this one? Zach's in at 15, just going to kick this thing off and get going on it. So what year? I don't know. I'm going to guess maybe 20s, maybe early 30s. I don't know. Or may even be teens. But typically the teen stuff didn't have much for gauges. So having a few places for gauges, I'm going to guess it's 20, maybe early 30s. So I don't know what you guys think about it. Zach thinks it's 15. What do you guys think? Should we go ahead and let's get rolling on it? I don't know. I haven't decided on it because I really didn't know if I wanted to sell it or not. So let's say, because it's with all this stuff on it, it's kind of heavy to ship. So let's say $50. Let's say $50 on the Oldsmobile Dash. I've got Zach at 15. And see if anybody else is interested. This thing probably weighs 3 or 4 or 5 pounds. So close up of the badge. The badge is super cool. It really is. That's kind of the whole thing on this deal. Like I said, the shipping on this thing is going to amount to something. So that's what I got to think about that as much as anything, because I don't know what this unit weighs here, but it's like 3 or 4 pounds for this thing right here. So there again, it's another one of those pieces that I've really been on the fence about doing something with. And Kenny's going to do it. Kenny's in at 50. Let's go. Let's do it. Let's make it happen then. If you guys want it, let's do it. Zach at 51. So we are going on it. We are live. Let's sell it. I'm good with that because that's going to get me something out of it and cover the shipping of this thing. I was going to set it down because it was getting too heavy sitting here holding it. Kenny's back in at 52. Big job. How about nobody stickers like your search for toolboxes in the shop? Yeah, and I do need to get some stickers done. I do need to do that. Anthony, what made you get into older vehicles? That's about all I've ever done. We'll have to get into that on another night. My dad was into it. I got a bachelor's degree in automotive technology. I actually went to work for Chrysler, started buying parts stores, and now went back to just doing old cars again. So coming up on the 1 minute mark, Kenny at 52. And 1 minute has now passed. What year? Like I said, I'm thinking 20s, maybe early 30s. Kenny at 52. As we're coming up on the minute 20 mark. 1 minute, 20 seconds has passed. Kenny at 52. And we're about to that minute 30 mark. So be thinking about your max bid because we have now crested the 1 minute, 30 second mark. Zach's back in at 53. It's Zach and Kenny $1 at a time. I wonder, well, I guess somebody's out there waiting to snipe them maybe. 20 seconds left to go. I think this was the ignition. I think it was. I mean, it was something important. 10 seconds left to go. Zach at 53, coming down to the wire. 5 seconds. And that does it. Zach at 53. Eloy came in at 54, about a second and a half too late. And Kenny was back in at 55 as well. But at the 2 minute mark, I had Zach. So that's the only fair way we can do it. Let's do another can. We did one of these several months ago. I found another one, and these are great cans. That's right. Bill, this as a piece of history. It is a kind of a cool piece of history. So it sounds like we definitely need to get something done on stickers as well. So I need to check on that. Let's do another STP can. STP concentrated cooling system, stop leak, and sealer. It's dripping on me a little bit. I had already thought I had this thing drained. I got a little bit of a drip coming out of this one yet. I drained this a while back, so thought we had her taken care of, but like I said, we sold one of these a while back. These are a great can. STP cooling system, stop leak, and sealer. Awesome colors, awesome graphics. Bill disc at 15. On the back, it's got the instructions as well as the little STP logos on there. This is kind of a smaller can. It is 4 3/4 by 2 5/8. So it's only 4 3/4 tall. Then it's at 16. 1971. This actually does have a date on it of 1971, if you guys can see that. And let's get this thing on the timer and get it kicked off. Here we go. We are on this one live. Dennis at 16 on the STP can. Johnson's almost looked too pretty for him. Let's see. Alec, were you 23 on this, Alec? I didn't know if that was an old bid or a new bid. So if you want to confirm that for me, Alec, on your 23, if that's on this can here. As we're coming up on the one, yeah, the can needs a little stop leak, that's for sure. Like I said, I got this one drained, thought I had this drained and ready to go, so. And 1 minute has now passed. So, Alec, I didn't know for sure if you were on the STP can or if that was the last one. So let me know on that. We got a little bit of time left here. Okay, Alec at 23. Thanks, appreciate it. Alec at 23 on the STP can. And 1 minute 20 has passed. Big job. You use STP syrup on your pancakes. Yeah, there you go. Alec at 23. This is a super cool can. As we're coming up on the minute 30 mark. 1 minute 30 seconds has passed. I've got Alec at 23. Lee at 25. 20 seconds left to go. Tweely D at 27. 15 seconds. Bill Disc at 32. 10 seconds left to go. Bill Disc at 32. 5 seconds. And that does it. Bill Disc at 32. And Lee was back in at 35. Number one, sorry I'm in and out. I found a truck I want to buy, so I've been busy betting on football all day. Well, I guess that's one way to try to come up with the funds. All right, what else we got? How about some more Ford emblems? And Alec came back in at 28 as well. There's a lot of interest in that can. All right, let's do a couple of Ford emblems for our Ford guys. Custom. I think this was supposed to have something on it. It looks like there's a chip on the end of here. So I don't know if there was something that was attached to this, but this was a mid-60s Ford custom emblem. It is flat, stud mount, nice chrome on it. It's not all pitted up. 66 fender badge. It's faded, but this would have had the colors in it for the Ford logo. Actually said Ford across the top there. It is notched because it went on the front fender. It was stud mount. This is 66 because it's got a C6 on the back. So I've got the custom, I've got the Ford badge, and then we're going to throw another one of these earlier Ford Model A badges in. I think this was off a car, like a custom 500 car, just like John said. So I think this may have said 500 on it at the end or something at one point. So the custom the 66 fender badge, and another one of the enamel Model A badges on the Ford car badge bundle. So, what's anybody thinking on these? See, we've got some interest in the Ford badges. If I can hold on to them. That big C was kind of messing me up there trying to hold on to it. Big Job says a 65 has the same style of emblem on it. Got Alec at 18 on the Ford badge bundle. The Model A one is a flat one. It would have been the one that had the button on the back that pushed on it, but it is broken off. So Alec at 18, all three of them. Let's go ahead and get these on the timer and get rolling here. We are live. I've got Alec at 18 on the Ford badge bundle. And we're ticking along on these. So what's anybody else think? I've got Alec at 18 on the Ford badges. I have to hold like this. This custom is just messing up the whole shebang here. So Alec at 18. We're getting close to the minute mark. Not quite there yet. And coming up on the 1 minute mark. Here we go. We are past 1 minute. Alec at 18. This might be an easy one for Alec the way it looks. Nobody might even mess with him on it. John's wants Rambler emblems. I've got some, actually. I found some this weekend. 1 minute, 20 seconds has passed. I think I do have a few Rambler emblems. We need to get an AMC bundle put together. Minute 30 has now passed. Alec at 18. 20 seconds left to go. This might be real simple for Alec. 15. 10. Big Job at 22. Elo's at 19. Big Job at 22. 5 seconds left to go. And that does it. Big Job at 20. And Alec came back in at 23. As soon as I sold him, that popped up. Holy cow. But I had Big Job at 22, and then I'd look over here, and poof, another one pops up as soon as I sell it. And then Eloy was at 23. But I had Big Job at 2 minutes when I hit 200, and I apologize, guys, but I got to be fair with the guys that are in there at 200, so I hate it when that happens and they all pop up at 201 as soon as I say sold. All right, we still got a couple of super cool things. I'm going to get one of them now, then we'll maybe do one or two other little things, then we're going to do another super cool thing. Something that, well, we need to do something like this too. You guys haven't had any of these in a while. Something that's over 100 years old. Now, you guys have been hanging out. We've been selling off a few license plates every week. If you guys don't remember, I bought that huge license plate collection all the way from 1913 all the way up to 1974 here a few months ago. And I have a lot of license plates that I've been gathering over the years, to eventually have like a big collection of them. Well, since I bought all in one shot now, I don't need them all. Well, this one box we've been selling out of, I've got one more that I'm going to sell out of there. And then I'm going to get some more out. I've got more stashes around. This was the first one that Big Job says Norma time. Yep. This is the first one that, the first handful that I grabbed. I've got more, but this is a pretty cool plate. I kind of saved the best for last. And we've sold some pretty cool license plates out of this first bundle that I dug out. This is a Kansas plate And it is early. It is over 100 years old. 102 to be exact. It is a 1920 Kansas license plate. Definitely has some chipping and fading. Looks like it was a black background with white numerals originally. KAN over here. 27876 is the number. Really in pretty decent shape. It is still fairly flat. Embossed across the back. Obviously, it was stamped. It has the slotted holes here. These corner holes, I'm not sure if these are original or if somebody added these corner holes. These slots, I'm sure, were original. Mark is at 35 right now, starting us off. 1920 Kansas license plate. Norma at 50. 102 years old. Like I said, the numbers I think are supposed to be white based on what I see here. But 1920 Kansas license plate. Norma at 50. John says, I'd hang that on the front door and change it to his new address. It's so cool. Yep. Mark at 55. Eloy at 60. On the 1920 Kansas license plate. Alec at 75. Let's go ahead and kick this thing off. Norma's at 100. On the 1920 Kansas license plate. Norma at 100 is my high bid at this point. And it is a pretty cool piece. Like I said, it's 102 years old. It's not in too bad a shape for being 102 years old. We are live on the timer. We're kind of working towards that first section, getting past the 1 minute. Yeah, I mean, it's not bad. It's not beat up. It's not rusted out. Yeah, and I don't know what the deal is with all these old plates having the extra holes at the edges. I don't know if these were original or not. Alec at 120 on Facebook. Alec at 120 as we come up on the 1 minute mark. We have passed the 1 minute mark. So a little bit of time on this yet, but not a lot. Alec at 120. Norma at 150. Norma's going for the knockout on that one at 150. Hey, X-Ray agrees with me. He says, bam. Norma at 150. 120 has passed. And we're coming up on the minute 30 mark. 1 minute, 30 seconds has passed. Norma at 150 is my high bidder on the 1920 Kansas license plate. 20 seconds left to go. Norma at 150, 15 seconds left. 10, 5, Alec at 151. Alec at 151, and that does it. Alec snuck that in with 151 right at the very end. Yeah, that was wow. I thought Norma threw out the knockout punch, and Alex snuck that one in right at the very tip. Holy cow. And that was tight. Well, Alex, there was about 4 seconds left to go when that came up. So, Hudson, I think everybody needs a double shot after that one. Brian says he's sweating. That's right. That's why I just threw them both up, John. I figured everybody needed a drink after that one. Yeah, I've got another super cool piece coming up too. What should we do in the meantime? Let's do spark plugs. We've sold some of these in the past, and these are kind of cool. Auto-like spark plugs. This does have some in it. This is not a full box. It has 6 plugs in it. There are a couple of different styles in them. That's right, Norma. Sorry about that. Alec played that one just right, though. He really did. A couple of different styles of boxes in this Autolite box of new old stock plugs. Everybody jinxed the Green Bay Packers, so apparently number one's betting against the Packers. So, Autolite spark plugs, new old stock in the box. The lid has been taped. A little bit more information on the back. Oh, still has some info cards inside of it as well. Yep, that's it, number one. So, anyway, let's if anybody's recovered enough after the last one to see if anybody's interested in the spark plugs. Kenny says Packers suck, so he's trying to help you out, number one. So, anyway, Autolite spark plugs. John's going to kick us off at 10. Okay. I even got to kind of get my wits back about me on that. So, anyway, box of new old stock Autolite spark plugs. John's kicking us off at 10. And let's everybody can kind of get regrouped. Everybody's trying to help you out, number one, against the Packers. So I don't have any skin in the game. So I don't know what kind of truck you're trying to buy. Hopefully you're not in too deep betting against the Packers where that you won't have any money left. So all right, John started us off at 10. Let's go ahead and roll with this thing. Everybody kind of take a breather. X-ray at 15. Mark at 20. Mark at 20 is my high bidder on the new Autolite plugs. John at 21. If everybody's heart rate's kind of coming back down now, where we can kind of get to get back to normal after that one. Mark at 23. Like I said, there are 6 plugs in here. It is not a full box, but there are 6 in the original box. John at 24. One minute has now passed on the new old stock Autolite plugs. I've got Mark at 26. As we're coming up on the minute 20 mark. Minute 20 has passed, so we've all had a couple minutes now for our heart rates to get back down. As we're coming up on the minute 30 mark, Mark at 26. Minute 30 has passed. Be thinking about those max bids. As we'll see, we got up with 20 seconds left to go. Mark at 26, 15 seconds left. 10. Mark at 26. 5. And that does it. Mark at 26. You guys are lucky Norman doesn't like plugs. Yeah, that's true. So cool pieces there for sure. All right, we'll do a couple more things. We'll do another can. I've got a super cool toy yet I want to do as well. So we'll do another can, and maybe then we'll get to the toy. Then maybe we'll move on to the magazine. So this is also a full can. It's a little bit aged, but it is new because it is still full, but it is aged. But it is a little different, which is cool. And it is all, it is all metal. Texaco Aircraft Engine Oil Premium AD. I love aviation cans. Of course, I like airplanes. So I love aviation cans. You don't see them as often because obviously there's not on the shelf at every parts store, because that's not where they usually don't sell a lot of airplane parts at every parts store. Like to do the standard oil regular cans. So anything that's aviation, I always think is cool. Got the Texaco logo on it. Like I said, this is an all metal can. See the seam over here. SAE 30 is what it says on the top. I will punch it on the bottom and drain it because it is still full. Lubricating oil, Texaco Aircraft Engine Oil Premium is a dispersant non-acer oil which meets the requirements of all current aircraft engine manufacturers. Texaco, New York, New York. So it's a cool piece. I love Texaco, obviously. I love aviation cans. So like I said, it's got a little bit of age to it. We can see the scuffs and scratches in it. Still presents well, though. Zach's going to kick us off at 10 on the Texaco aviation can. Let's go ahead and get this thing live on the timer. And here we go. Zach at 10 on the Texaco aviation. I usually don't use the oil because everything, every week I drain different weights. So there's not really any way to actually save it and use it. I'd have to have 20 different jugs, on stuff that it would be so much hassle to try to sort it all out and still use it in something. So I've got about 10 gallons of new oil that I don't know what to do with now at this point, but now there's just, like I said, this is straight 30. I may drain 20, 50 next week. You never know. Zach at 10 on the Texaco aviation can as we come up on the 1 minute mark. And 1 minute has now passed. Yeah, if I had an oil burner, Kenny, it'd be perfect, but I don't have an oil burner, so that's probably what I'll end up doing is giving it to some friends of mine that do have oil burners. As we're coming up on the minute 20 mark, I've got Zach at 10. Yeah, I could use to put in engines I want to save at the yard. That's true. Minute 30. We're coming up on that minute 30 mark. Zach at 10 on this thing. So you're going to get a walk away with this thing at 10? Tweedly D at 25. 20 seconds left to go. Tweedly D at 25. 15 seconds left. 10. Tweedly D at 25. Zach at 26. Tweedly D at 34. And that does it. Tweedly D at 34. All right, let's do a super cool toy. And that'll probably be it for tonight. Let's do this toy, and then we'll kind of move on to the magazine so we can kind of keep moving here. Hudson Badge. This is a cool piece. I dig this. And this is another thing. If this isn't $100, I'll just keep it. Trust me, because I bought it to sell. Then I started looking at it today, and then I get second thoughts on stuff. So, but it is a super cool, appears to be all original paint Structo truck. Scuffs, scratches, cab over type nose. Structo on both sides of it. I don't know what it had back here, if it had like a rack on it or doors or what. But inside of the bed's in pretty decent shape. Buying is so much fun than selling. Yeah, it is. That's why a lot of times when, if somebody isn't quite, interested in something, that's fine. I mean, I'll keep it. So this is a cool piece. This actually is a wind-up. wheels are plastic, and they do say Structo on them. They have metal caps on them. They have metal caps on them. They are plastic wheels. The top of the cab is scuffed on it. So we'll give it another wind here, flip the lever, and away she goes. So anyway, yeah, I could use a little bit of the oil we drain out of the cans. That's true. So it's a cool piece, and the winding does work. So, like I said, Alex started us off at 30, but like I said, for what I got in this thing and for as cool as it is, it's got to be $100, and I think it's well worth $100. John says it's scaring his dog when it whines. So on the cab over, Structo. Normal's in at the 100. So yeah, that means I got to sell it. This was actually a lot better idea before somebody actually bid the 100. So it's got to be 50s. I'd say it's all metal, other than the tires are a hard plastic. Both headlights are even still in this thing. So Norma threw the 100 out there. That means I have to put it on the timer. So I guess I will. There we go. It's too late now. I can't back up on you. Norma at 100 on the Structo truck. Rico at 110. Yeah, exactly. That's right, Pete. Norma called my bluff. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff I do not have a problem keeping. Trust me. Norma's back in at 125, though. I said it's not perfect because it's been played with a little bit, but considering it's got to be 50s. You know, it's in pretty darn decent shape considering that. Even the bed's not wiped out on it. Rico at 130. That or just swiped his account. Not sure sometimes. Does have the original frame on it. It says Structo under here. 1 minute has now passed. The cab is a little bit loose on it. It's still mounted, but the cab is a little bit loose on the chassis. Norma at 140. That's right, Rico. It's birthday month. That's right, at Rico's house. 1 minute, 30 seconds has now passed. Norma at 140. 20 seconds left to go. 15. 10. Structo. That's right, Kenny. 5 seconds left. Norma at 140. And that does it. Norma at 140. Jason says it was a barrel truck, so it must have had barrels or something that probably was in it originally. So it's a cool piece. A little bit of rubbing compound, and that thing will really shine. I was actually going to do that with it, but I ran out of time since I didn't get back till mid-afternoon today, so I didn't have a chance to polish any of it out. So I told you we still had a few cool pieces to go. So anyway, I guess we'll wrap it up for tonight. Move on to the magazine. Thanks for playing, everybody. Had a lot of fun. And we've talked about that. Bill, that came up earlier about having auctions on a separate night, just doing a whole night of auctions. But, I just think I don't see that would be pretty tough to do at this point. I mean, that's a whole nother night. We've talked about maybe making one Sunday night a month doing that. We're talking about, different ideas with it. Alec, really wonder which would Norman prefer, the plate or the truck. Yeah, they're both great pieces. There's no doubt about it. Shopcat, every time I sell something, I feel a twinge, but cash in hand. Yeah. So it's, yeah, like I said, that was a great truck. It really was. So Brian's going to sign off. He needs to get some rest. So we'll finish watching tomorrow. Thanks for playing, everybody. Had a lot of fun with on the auctions tonight. Appreciate everybody's support in the auctions, and also that helps support financially what we're doing here, and it helps add to your guys' collection. So let's have an Auburn badge for that. And then let's finish up the magazine from last week. Zach said, I've seen a couple comments about viewers' rides. Yeah, and we can sure do that. Mark, got to get PayPal straightened out. No problem, Mark. Just give me a call if you have any issues. And we can do that, especially if I get, I can show some pictures on my phone. I don't know how well you guys can make that out, or actually send me actual pictures and we can do that. Or I've actually thought about putting a monitor up back here to where I could actually show pictures on that too. So different ideas on what we could do there as well. But anyway, let's finish up the magazine. Tweeted, he says, congrats to all the winners and the snipers. Yeah. But yeah, we can sure work something like that out. If you can get the pictures and information to me, we can absolutely kind of make that a section of the show. And what we might end up doing, and we'll see how this works out. Last week we had a ton of cool stuff in the magazine. I only did half of it, and you guys have voted to do the other half this week. Maybe we do that. Maybe we shorten the magazine section up and split the magazine up and do part of it one week, part of it the next week, and do a viewer ride section in there. We can do whatever we want. So, but that's right. Zach says we are all car people. That's what brought us together. So, and that's what makes it fun. And I appreciate all your guys' support and all your guys' help with the snipers, or all you guys help with the trolls. We've seen a few pop up tonight. You guys took care of them. I appreciate that as well. So, back to Motor Trend of October of 1978. Shopcat has a channel with his projects on them. That's true. Yeah, some of you guys, watch your guys' user IDs, because a lot of their projects are on their channels as well. So, but second half, part 2, Motor Trend, October 1978, with a cover price of $1.25. If you'll remember, last week we did the first half of this magazine. There was so much stuff in it, there was no way to squeeze it all in. So we'll catch the second half this week. I'm kind of curious as to what you guys think about that, because if we do magazines in halves like this, unless it's a small magazine like some of those mini hot rod magazines, we can usually get through those. Big job, split the magazine. That will ease your schedule for prep. Yeah, and that would too. John, I have 3 projects done, and I think I got one more, but his wife's disagreeing. So, yeah, that's right. A magazine's almost 10 times that anymore. But, we can do that, because if we split the magazine, if it's a big magazine like these Motor Trends, especially when we get into some of this stuff where they're talking about a lot of the new for that era cars and things like that, then we can split that up and give us a little more time, so we're not running 4 hours and losing on some of you guys by, they're exactly just right. What Tweedlee said, he fell asleep through part of it because we're going so long. So maybe cutting the magazine in half is a good idea. Unless it's like those little mini hot rod magazines where we can get one of those squeezed in. Pete, any chance of making a directory of everybody's YouTube and email? And Pete said he could organize it. Yeah, Pete, if you wanted to, if you wanted everybody to send it to you and you could put it together, I would have no problem with that. That would definitely be a good idea as well. If anybody wants to, be part of that and send it to Pete, and Pete can compile that for everybody. So we'll start back into the magazine from October of 1978, starting on page 68, since we did half this magazine already. And since this is October of 78, we're talking about the new for 79 automobiles. '79 Chrysler, Plymouth, and Dodge. Big 2-page full-color spread of the Dodge Omni 24, the Chrysler New Yorker, the Town & Country, the Horizon Hatchback, the Horizon TC3, the Chrysler Newport, the Colt hatchback, the Chrysler Cordoba, the Dodge Omni 024, the Chrysler Cordoba, the Dodge Challenger, and the Dodge St. Regis. So, there's the full color spread for the 1979 Chrysler products, and we'll get into some more details about some of these 79 Chrysler products as we work through the article. So, Bill, I've never been, everybody's talking about being done projects versus their projects usually aren't ever done, that's for sure. But 79 Chrysler products. Now, if anybody's been checking out the Ebony Collector Auto Auction, we do have a 79 Chrysler product coming to the auction, and it is super cool. And it also belongs to one of our viewers, Robert. Robert with the Hubcap Collectors of the U.S. Facebook page. Robert does hang out with us on here sometimes. Robert is bringing a 1979 Chrysler 300 to the auction. When's the last time you saw a 79 300? So check that out on the FE Classic Car Auction website. Robert's going to be bringing that out and rolling it through the auction on Saturday, October 1st. But what was going on in the Chrysler world in 79? The Plymouth Horizon, the Plymouth Champ, the Plymouth Arrow, a lot of their compact cars. There again, still not a lot of color in these magazines in 78. Still doing a lot of stuff in black and white. You know, in today's world, everything is color pretty much, but still a lot of black and white in this era. Pete, that 300 is sweet. Didn't even know they existed. Yeah, I think Robert said they made like 4,000 of those. Buckets, console, floor shift, fender louvers, wheels. It's a pretty neat car. It really is. So, yeah, definitely check out that 79 300 that Robert's bringing to the auction because it is cool. Rico's got to jump off. Appreciate you being on, Rico. We'll see you in a couple weeks for sure. Zach had a Horizon and an Omni Turbo. That's right. It was cheaper for black and white. So, Jason, when I'm done with something, it usually ends up in the yard with weeds around it. So, 79 Dodge. There's our Omni 024, the St. Regis, and the Colt hatchback in the 79 Dodge section. As well as the Colt, the Challenger, and the Aspen. And the Challenger, like number one says, there were a lot of these look Japanese. The Challenger actually was, I believe, a Mitsubishi import. I believe the Colt was actually an import. The Aspen was their own car. So, Sweet Hudson Dreams. Rico says, Bill, we'll give you one more of those. And 79 Dodge, the Diplomat, and the Magnum XE. As well as 79 Chrysler, the Cordoba, and the LeBaron. David W. St. Regis, another name taken from Studebaker. So that's what they had listed for the 1979 Chrysler products. In the Cordoba section, I was just looking, it doesn't even mention the 300 as an option package. Now, and I don't know if Robert's still on with us or not, but the, and maybe it was a later in the year type deal as far as when that came out, because this is October of 78. So that may have been a later in the year edition of the 300 package because it does not list the 300 package in the Cordoba. John, wow, an Omni. Haven't seen one of those in years. Ozark Fox took his driver's test in an Omni. There's a St. Regis hotel in Calgary, says number one, that used Chrysler St. Regis for city cabs and airport pickup. I guess that would make perfect sense. But that's what they had to showcase for the 1979 Chrysler products in the October 78 issue of Motor Trend magazine. The next article we're going to check out Actually has some color pictures in it. Omni GLH, poor man's Porsche. GM front drives for $79. New dimensions in luxury. That's right. So number one says, don't laugh. Shelby had an Omni GLHS that ripped. So yeah, those they did some cool stuff with what they had to work with. I'm not gonna lie. They made some cool stuff that I thought was really neat. The stuff that Shelby came out with on the mid 80s on those platform cars, that what they came up with from what they had to work with, pretty impressive. But that's what they had to work with, so that's what they did. Now, you got to remember that relationship with Carroll Shelby that started with these Dodge Omnis and things like that, where they came up with the little GLH cars and things like that and the turbos. That relationship with Carroll Shelby is what led to the Dodge Viper and Shelby's development in the Viper to come up with a Cobra for the 90s. So Texas from Brazil is on with us. Zach took his driver's test in an 89 Dodge Gold. So, and the thing about it, and a lot of people make fun of the Omnis and, those little cars as well as the K cars. But you got to remember that K car platform is what saved Chrysler. The Omni platform, where they came out with those little Shelby Omnis and things like that were super cool. That's what led to Chrysler's revolution in the 90s, which led to what everybody thought was cool. And with the cool stuff they came out with in the 90s was pretty awesome. So you kind of weigh all that when you look at this, and we kind of make fun of some of this stuff in 1978. What it turned into, it actually came out pretty cool. Shopcat, 79 was a one-year return for the 300 name, absent since 71. Around 2,900 were made. 360s, that's right. Most of them were white, which is what Roberts is. About 30 were red. A 1980 Cordoba-based 300 was planned, but became the Cordoba LS. So there's a little bit of history from Shopcat. So around 3,000 of them were made. We do have one at the F&E Collector Auto Auction here in a couple weeks that our friend Robert owns. That's rolling through the block. That's rolling across the block. So Addie's on with us. Addie's jumping on for a few minutes. How about an Auburn Badge? John, rough time for automotive companies at that time. That is true. God bless the minivan. And as weird as it is to say that, competing with Japanese manufacturing, that's true. But that is what saved Chrysler. That's what turned Chrysler into the juggernaut they became in the 90s with some super cool stuff. And so we can sit here now and make fun of this stuff in 78, but when we look at the big picture, it all turned out okay. Number one says in Canada, 2-door, 4-speed manual Plymouth Reliant was $49 a month. So anyway, flipping forward a little bit. Well, we'll give him a Hudson badge to go with it. So, do you have a 72 to 79 Ranchero Squire with wood grain? No, I do not. I have a 72 Montego wagon that I think has wood grain on it, but I do not have the Ranchero Squire. I've got one Ranchero, and it is not a Squire. Jason says, nope, he's doing all right. Pete says, he made you drink and took all their money. But the next article we're going to get to, GM front drives for $79, new dimensions in luxury. Obviously, as we all know, 1979, the Eldorado, the Riviera, and the Tornado all went front-wheel drive. Obviously, Eldorado, Tornado already were. Riviera was still rear-wheel drive. They all switched to the front drive platform for 1979. When push comes to shove, in the search for better fuel mileage, GM finds it is better to pull than push. And they actually really did this up fairly nice with some color pictures and then more black and white. Let's see. I remember a lot of smoky first-gen Caravans. I agree, Zach. Sell well. Kudos to Dodge for putting some fun into a yawn segment. Yep. Yeah, I'm not torturing anybody. Everybody wants to be here. They're here at their own will. So. But actually some nice color pictures of the new for 79 Eldorado, Tornado, and Riviera platform cars. I think these cars, they still have not caught on. These are cars that I think are going to catch on. You know, you look at Riviera overall, the 63 to 65, the 66, 67, the 68, 69, 70 being a one-year car. Then you get into the Bowtail, 71 to 73. All of those Rivieras always kind of lagged behind a lot of other cars from their era. But now they're really, really catching on. The 63 to 65s are hot. The 71 to 73 Bowtails are super hot. The 6s and 7s and the 8s and 9s are right behind them. So that's where I see the 79 to 85 front-wheel drive platform. These were really pretty decent cars. The 4100 Cadillacs had a tendency to dump the intakes and knock the bottom ends out of them because they dunked the crankcase full of antifreeze and knocked the bearings out of them in those early 4100s. But these were pretty decent cars. They were very attractive cars. They were a very formal-looking car. I think these 79 to 85 front drive platforms, Eldorado, Rivi, and Tornados are going to be worth holding on to. And they even made a few convertibles in them, too. So, John agrees with me. Starting to see some of it already in his area. The first part of the article, the 79 Riviera, a return to style and grace for the 79 Riviera. Now, something kind of interesting that you guys, I'll see how good you guys are because I just noticed this. They've got a cutaway of this 79 Riviera, which is pretty cool. Pretty unique the way they've got this cutaway shown of the front of this Riviera, cut all the way into the interior, showing all that. Now, what motor is that? I'll give everybody a few seconds and see if they can get it. We've talked about them on here before. It was somewhat revolutionary in this era. So, we'll see if anybody can get that. Nope, it's not a 307. They did use the 307, Jason. That's a good guess. That was a very good engine, the 307 Oldsmobile. But, no, it's not a 455 Eloy. The 455 was gone after 76. It is a 3.8 number one, but it's a different 3.8. Dan got it. It is a 3.8 turbo. This has the turbo motor in it. If you look real close, this air cleaner is the turbo air cleaner. Comes down to the snorkel here. We can see the little turbo setup back over there. So this was a turbo car. Thought that was kind of interesting the way they had that, you know, kind of penciled in there. So. Now, on the Tornado and the Eldorado, they didn't give it quite as much love. Just a little bit more on that. Of course, once they had the basic platform, I guess 289. No, 289. They didn't use the 289 in any of those. The Tornado and the Eldorado, once they covered the platform, basically probably got a lot of that earlier. There wasn't as much to cover on the Eldorado or the Tornado. Kevin's got to sign off. Glad you were here. Always a blast. Glad you made it. Glad you had a good time. So that was a pretty big deal. Those were flagship cars for Buick, Oldsmobile, and Cadillac. And that was a pretty big deal. That was a groundbreaking design. And like I said, personally, I think those cars are going to be well worth getting and holding on to if you like them. Now's the time to buy one. What size was the GN? The GN was the same thing. It was a 3.8 231 turbo. Obviously much, much more refined, but John says, I can't accept them as old cars. Yeah, I know. And they are. It's crazy as it is to think that this October of 78 was 44 years ago when this magazine was printed. But one more car we're going to do kind of an oddball here, or not the last car, but something to kind of do that's kind of an oddball. We're not going to spend a lot of time on it, but it was so unique, I had to throw it out there. Who remembers the Scirocco? I remember it because I know a kid in high school drove one. So I kind of remember a Scirocco. Bill, we still have a few of those Rivieras running around in his area in good condition. Yep. Hey, John, I'm right there with you, though, because I still remember that stuff, you know. But this was even odd for a Scirocco, because a Scirocco was kind of odd, and this was an odd Scirocco. And I actually got to get to the back to find the other picture that I saw after the fact, so I can show you both pictures, because this article was a continued article. Well, if I can find it, because it was so weird that I had to share it with you guys. Well, I guess it's not going to show it to me. No, it wasn't a Scirocco convertible. There it is. It was the Scirocco Recaro edition. Who remembers a Recaro Scirocco? And it even had a custom, of course, it had Recaro seats, Recaro entire seat panels that said Recaro in the Scirocco. Yep, there's Zach. Remember the fancy seats, so Pete remembers it. So, like I said, a little out of the wheelhouse, but it was so weird that I had to at least show it to you guys. Now, something else we're not going to spend a ton of time on because we're already coming up on 3 hours, and we're trying to not go 4. So, the new super oils, the kind of oil in your crankcase, definitely can affect the demands on your pocketbook. So we're starting to talk about oils. And there was some interesting things in here that kind of caught my eye. Number one says those seats are holy grails in the VW world. I bet you're right. They probably are. Among the technological fallout generated by the great energy crunch of 1973 are some advances in automotive lubricants that have begun to find their way into consumer products during the last year or two. So this is based off of the gas crunch in 73. Now remember, we're in 1978 now. Big job. You're lucky no one's got a coin to hypnotize you. You're getting sleepy. Yeah, I'm beat. It's been a long week. Like I said, it was a mad thrash, and then I slept last night, but the night before that, I actually way overdid it at the salvage yard, and I hurt pretty bad, and I was pretty banged up, and my legs were all cut up from thorn trees, and then I couldn't sleep very good Friday night, so I finally slept last night, but I way overdid it, trying to gather up parts because I only had a limited amount of time, so I go way overboard. Alex got to bail off on Facebook. Glad you were able to hang out tonight, Alec. So when I've only got so much time in a salvage yard when I'm out on the road, I way overdo it, and then I end up paying for it. So Pete lived in New Braunfels in the late 90s. Yeah, I know where New Braunfels is at. I got a buddy down there that actually hung out down there in the late 90s. So, yeah, but then the drive home today, that's right, Addie. So it was the drive home too on top of that. So, yeah, I'm kind of whipped. But anyway, back to the oil. Like I said, this is based off the gas crunch in 73. The main thrust behind this turn of events comes not, as one might assume, from the oil companies looking for a better marketing angle, but from car makers trying to solve federally mandated fuel economy problems. The potential for improved fuel economy through reduced engine friction has always been there. Something under 30% of the heat supplied by the fuel is available to be converted to mechanical work in the first place, the other 70% being lost directly to exhaust, coolant, etc. Of the part that is available, only a portion of it is translated to delivered or brake horsepower. The rest being expanded, overcoming frictional losses to mechanical parts and internal friction of the lubricant, plus airflow or pumping losses, power used to induct fuel air mixture and deliver exhaust gases. At wide open throttle, friction losses amount to approximately 5% of the energy provided by the fuel, which doesn't offer much margin for improvement. At part load conditions, however, friction losses drain as much as half of the 30% chemical energy converted to mechanical work, representing a large potential for improved fuel economy through the reduction of friction. Dennis's gas lines were long. I don't remember any of that. That was before my time. Random trivia question. What was last year for the GM X-Frame mass, Zach? Pete, wow, I hope to retire down there someday in Texas. Bill says 64. Yeah, we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna be short tonight anyway. Big job, so not a big deal. We'll get through the magazine, but we are gonna be a little short tonight because I didn't get trivia ready, and obviously I didn't pick up any new cars to talk about or anything. But I thought it was so very interesting about this in '78 because this is where they started talking about all of the synthetics. That's what they were trying to do: reduce engine friction to improve fuel economy. And this is the beginning of what we see now of all these different synthetics, synthetic blends, this new super oils. This is articles from October of '78. That's where they were going with the article at that time. There again, so much cool stuff. That's why this magazine's taken 2 nights, because there's so much technology that we see today that was starting right here. John says, I'm sorry, but I love the magazine. I'm a geek, I guess. Well, I'm glad you guys enjoy it. And maybe by splitting them up, if everybody's cool with doing basically 2 magazines a month, we can spend a little more time with them and we can dig into them a little deeper. That's another thing to think about, is there's a lot of stuff that we miss because, we're trying to squeeze it in. So maybe splitting the magazine up will ease the time a little bit and give us a little more content. So I want your guys' opinion on that, though, too, not just mine. Frank, you are still here, Frank. That's for sure. You guys are still hanging out. Tony's got a doctor's appointment in the morning, so he's got to get some sleep. Hey, I understand. So not a problem. Glad you guys were here. But the next article that we're going to check out, we've got 2 more articles, and then we're going to get into the ads. But the next one, obviously, something that was definitely right up my wheelhouse for sure. On the 1979 Firebird formula, the bird gets a new beak and some new feathers, but the giblets remain the same. On the new 79 Firebird formula, this one with T-tops, shows the formula-only dual-scooped hood, obviously not the shaker hood of the Trans Am. Probably the most noticeable trait of a formula in that era was the formula hood, be it whether it was the earlier fiberglass dual-scooped snorkels out the front or this later version of the dual-scooped formula hood. So Jeff's got to bail off. I understand, not a problem. Number one, still guessing what the trivia questions may have been. So Zach says 70 Riviera used the last thing that used an X-frame. That is kind of looks like a Rockford Files car. That's right, John. Ozark Fox tore down a slant 6 yesterday that looked like it was full of cruda. The Leaning Tower of Power. We've got road test data on this 1979 formula. Shows it as a picture with the tops off and everything. And this 79 Firebird formula was a WS6. Yes, you could get WS6 on a formula. That was an option on a formula. You could get basically everything you get on a Trans Am on a formula. So this car does have WS6. It's got the 15 by 8 inch snowflake wheels, as we saw in the pictures. It is a 400, so it is still a Pontiac, one of the last Pontiacs. 220 horsepower, 320 pounds of torque. So you got to remember, this is pretty good for 79. One of the last ones with the 400 Pontiac, WS6, 220 horse, 320 pounds of torque, 4-speed manual. So this was about as good as it got in 79. Just said formula instead of Trans Am is really about the only difference. But this thing had all the good stuff, everything a Trans Am had. Still only ran a standing quarter mile in 16.1 seconds. But that's still about as good as it got for 79. So one more article that we definitely have to look at, and then we're going to catch some ads. But we've got to remember, we're in October of 1978. So when we take ourselves back to October of 78, And think about where the auto industry was, and now we think about what happened over the next 5 to 10 years from 1978. This article is directly pertains to that. A chip for the old block. So where do you think they're going with that? A chip for the old block? Yes, computer technology will make cars better, safer, and more efficient. So, talk about revolutionizing the industry, and it was starting right here. Obviously, we know that at this point, it had been played with for a long time. Excuse me. Chrysler was playing with electronic fuel injection in the late 50s. AMC was playing with electronic fuel injection in the late 50s. Addie says, this makes me feel like I'm in auto tech after going to the auto tech center, auto part of the tech center the other day. So, yeah. So it's kind of like you're in auto tech. Now, this article, and like I said, this is the stuff I really wanted to take a few minutes to get into, the oils, this computer stuff. Bill's going to tap out. I understand, not a problem. But this is why I wanted to do this magazine, right? We're living through a quiet revolution, one which brings almost daily change to our lives, even though most of us are only dimly aware of it. It began in 1948 with the invention of the transistor. This triggered a technological upheaval which made possible such significant feats as the moon landing and some less than world-shaking things like the digital watch. The auto industry is just beginning to apply some of this new technology, and in the years to come, the car will be one of the prime beneficiaries of the astounding progress that's been made in electronics during the past 30 years. And they were right. Obviously. He's still staying in plastic, so that's fine. You're doing fine there. So, until recently, the electrical hardware found in cars has been relatively unsophisticated and not a whole lot different than from what it was 40 years ago. Such things as ignition and lighting systems were adequate, and except for evolutionary improvements, there were little incentive to change them. Events, however, have conspired to alter the situation. In its continued struggle to meet federal exhaust emission and fuel economy standards, the auto industry has been forced to broaden its technological base, and the dynamic growth of knowledge in the electronics field has given the car makers tools to work with, which were beyond the realm of fantasy not so very long ago. Which we all know now that that's been a huge deal, was, fuel economy, emissions, and all that. But this is where it was first really starting to be applied. Zach's got to jump off. Not a problem. Got to pick up a bunch of parts for the 53 tomorrow, including an odd, controversial engine swap. That sounds interesting. Maybe you can fill us in on that later. But there again, that's what's so cool about this. And there again, we could study this article, and there's so much stuff in it. But so many things. And in fact, there's a picture here that we have to show you that they weren't even, this shows you how little they knew about it in the late 70s. And this is actually a G-body car, so it's a 78, or still probably an A-body, they call them at that point, but it is the car that what we know has become as an A-body. But there were so many things that they didn't know about at that point that they were still trying to figure out. This is what they were doing. To shield experimental electronic components from electromagnetic interference, GM has built this anechoic chamber at its GM Tech Center in Warren, Michigan, and allows engineers to evaluate equipment without worrying about the effects of unwanted external electrical influence. So kind of crazy when you look at that chamber they built as they were starting to study the computer controls. What was going to affect them? What didn't affect them? What did they have to do to protect them? Things like that. They built a specific chamber for that. But there again, they didn't know. You're talking about putting something that's going to be, a computer electronic thing that they were still learning about that was going to have to perform in 10 below degrees, when it's 10 below out, when it's 110 out, when it's raining, snowing, windy, whatever, it's going to have to perform. They didn't know what was going to affect it. They didn't know if you plug something in beside it, if it was going to affect it. They didn't know. That's what they were working on. But however, obviously, we know they got to sort it out because it controls everything on a car now. But that was so cool when we look back at this time frame, all the stuff that came together and eventually turned into what we have today. And like I said, there's so many different examples that I have seen in here. But and this is how, to give you an example of how antiquated this article is, it literally says, now we're all sitting here on a computer in one way, shape, or form. Whether it's this computer, whether it's a desktop, whether it's a tablet, whether it's a smart TV, we are all sitting here on a computer right now. So we're all familiar with them. This literally gets into the start, is literally talking about, and this chapter starts off first, or chapter paragraph, a computer or microprocessor brain in a little black box must be fed information upon which it can act. It must then analyze the information, which it has been programmed to do, and send a command ordering any changes which it might feel are necessary. In a car, the acquisition of information and the translation of the computer's orders into action are not so easily accomplished. That's literally how basic this article was in 78. So it's kind of crazy to think about, but it's literally that basic of an article. But that's in 1978. Didn't have computers in cars. That was all Greek stuff. So who knows? But anyway, there again, definitely thought it was well worth mentioning and well worth checking out in this issue of October 78 Motor Trend, because that, and now you saw with what we talked about last week on all the articles with, the new cars for 79 that were coming out, all the stuff in the Detroit report, the International report, the Roving report, all that stuff in last week's issue, or last week's first half of this issue, the 79 AMC cars, the 79 GM cars. And now what we saw tonight with the technology and all the changes that were coming, that's why I was so enamored with this Motor Trend of October 78 and really wanted to spend some quality time with it. I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. Let's catch this last batch of ads, and so we can wrap this one up. Starting off, well, number one, I don't know if you're going to like this or not. It's football. I don't know if you're winning or losing on football at this point. But this could be your ticket to Super Sunday Weekly Pro Football Sweepstakes from Valvoline. Check out the old Valvoline can. Big full-color ad for Valvoline for Super Bowl tickets. John, we're all lucky to have been alive during that period of the automobile. Yeah, it's pretty interesting stuff. Anthony really digs it. It's awesome as all caps. Like I said, and I eat it up too. It's the history, it's the knowledge, it's all interesting. I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. And maybe doing these deeper dives is what we need to do. Maybe we just plan on doing them two at a time, 2 weeks for one magazine. Mobile One, again, talking about the synthetic stuff and talking about the basic synthetic. Better lubrication because it's synthetic, man-made. There again, this is all, you can go 25,000 miles between oil changes because it's a synthetic, man-made with additives. I still wouldn't want to go 25,000 miles between oil changes because you still got a lot of dirt in there, but that's what, there again, these changes in oil, these changes in technology were all coming right at this time. The train was barreling down the tracks, it was building up steam, and when we hit the 80s, boom, 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 this stuff was just pouring in, just constantly coming in. So Norma digs it. John says, that would look cool on a t-shirt. Yeah, that Valvoline ad would look cool on a t-shirt. David W., I remember some of the first computers were behind the kick panels and would get drilled for mounting speakers. That would be an expensive mistake if you worked in a stereo shop. Mark got his PayPal fixed for the plugs and an extra large gray shirt. Okay. Did you put that note on there, Mark, or about the shirt? Or do I need to write that down so when I print that, I know? Let me mark it on my note here. All right, I got that written down there too. Oh, and make sure your addresses are on there. Also, I've got 2 from last week, Buchanan, and one other one I do not have addresses on, and I forgot to grab them. They're out on the shipping bench. So if you did not, let's see. I don't remember which the other one was that I did not have a shipping address on. So please make sure your shipping addresses are on there, guys. And yes, a lot of them I do have somewhere at some point, but there again, finding them, especially for screwed up as last week got on shipments, gets tough. Stuart Warner gauges, an early warning system for the shade tree mechanics. The old Stuart Warner aftermarket gauges. Ozark Fox says wild turkey. There was wild turkey in here, but it was earlier in the magazine, so we got it last week. Number one lost tonight. He does remember the Valvoline sweepstakes, but he did lose tonight. So, all right, this next ad is so 1978. I could not include it, even though it is about a third-page ad. Not quite a half. It is color, but it is so 1978. Absolutely had to share it with you. For Chastain Shadow Louvers. That genuine Chastain look from our design center to you, the Shadow Louver. Oh, yeah, check that out. So definitely 1978 with that ad. So couldn't miss that. No way we could miss that one. John says it even smells like 78. Yeah. Something else that was happening big time in the 70s, a lot of it based off of our friend Doug Prey's dad, Glenn, making the, well, of course, Glenn Prey was making him licensed because he owned Auburn and Cord. But this was a MG-based kit car. It's kind of funny. It was an MG-based car, so they call it the Midgie. Daytona Midgie, the late great touring sports car, is about introducing the Daytona Midgie. So they couldn't call it an MG, so they called it a Midgie, based off of like a late 40s, early 50s MG. One more ad that we want to check out. These I do not remember. So maybe some of you guys can enlighten me. For fiber mats, the natural fiber custom car mats. These deluxe mats made from the finest imported cocoa matting are available for every make, model, and year of the U.S. or imported automobile. They have a heavy-duty heel pad on the driver's side and are edged with rugged, colored, coordinated vinyl. Anybody remember fiber mats? That's right. Pete's laughing at the Daytona Midgie. John never cared for them. Fiber mats. Anybody remember? Because that one I didn't get. But like I said, I was only 4 years old. So I don't remember a lot from that time period. But there they are, the cocoa fiber mats from 1978. Obviously I don't remember from being in the 80s, so they probably never really took off. So Anthony's never seen him in Canada, and he's old as dirt. John doesn't remember him, but now he needs some. So something kind of different, but something I definitely didn't know anything about. And what the heck, one more time, for good measure, we'll flip back to page 14 and catch the Wild Turkey ad, just because we love the Wild Turkey ads, because this thing was in every friggin' ad back in 78, I think, in every magazine. Number one, I love window louvers on non-spoilers car. Mike remembers when they were bad about curling up, so... So anyway, after 2 weeks, we finally got through the October 78 issue of Motor Trend magazine. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. Maybe this is a new thing. There again, I want your feedback. Doing a little bit deeper dive, but doing them over 2 weeks, that could get us more cool information and possibly lessen the load time-wise. Tony says that was a 25 Oldsmobile Dash is what it was. So... okay, perfect, Mark. Perfect. Great. Appreciate it. Yeah, it is a good looking cover. There is, like I said, so much. Pete said he loved the magazine. But there again, I'm really curious because we could do that. That would, we got to try to reel this thing in because I know 4 hours is a lot. I know 4 hours is a lot for you guys. Imagine what 4 hours is for me. It's a ton. But, I do it because you guys are here and we're hanging out and we're having a good time. But splitting the magazine up, like I said, those little mini mags from the late 50s, those little hot rod mags, those aren't too big a deal. But we get into something with good meat, maybe we just split them up and cover them a little bit better. Because obviously, a lot of great feedback from you guys on this one, the way we did it. And also helps with the time situation. So, that's right, John. I don't get a bathroom break either. No bathroom breaks, no nothing. I got to go. I just roll with it. Number one says we're VW, Euro cars, and RV accessory mats is what primarily use those. So Devin likes the GM, my GM sign. Yep. Anthony says he would rather split them up than miss anything, which there again, it's a good point. Big Job says it's a good magazine and it is long, but we're all addicted. So. And I appreciate you guys hanging in there. We have lost a lot of them. See, and here's another perfect example of it. When we hit 3 hours, a lot of our regulars did have to get to bed, especially you guys back east, and I understand that. When we're out west, it's not near as bad, because California, it's 10 after 8 out there. But I know that makes it tough on some guys. And like I said, I'm still tweaking this thing. I work on it every week. I work hard when I build my sheets and try to do a good job for you guys. So that does it for the magazine. Like I said, I did not, since I was on the road today, I did not get trivia done. So, yeah, so Anthony's out west. It's 8:15. He doesn't care. Number one, you can tell the mood of America by what page the turkey was on. So, like I said, I'm trying to work on the time situation. That magazine could definitely be a good part to it. Plus, maybe slide in, a couple of smaller segments that don't take as much time, like the viewers, vehicles, and stuff like that, viewer projects. Cut the magazine in half, maybe slide a little bit of that in, and maybe that'll kind of get us in. We're 3 hours and 12 minutes now. Maybe start getting it reeled back in. Ozark Fox ones are Crosley with those mats. But like I said, since I was on the road today, I did not get trivia done. We do have some raffle stuff to talk about. Not much new inventory to talk about, but Devin, so you're Devin Central, so you're with me on time a little after 10. But who is in the big Buick oil can as of right now for the super cool Autolite battery cable sign? Lots of names in there. Lots of familiar nobody's names in there right now. Who's in there? Let's check and see. Now, I'm doing these by weeks. I staple them together by week. Every week, whoever pays me for raffle chances are $1 a piece. You can do PayPal, check, money order, cash, Western Union, same thing. A lot of guys add it to their auctions that round up, throw a few bucks in on the raffle. So because of that, as I go through these weekly, a lot of guys' names are in here every week because they'll buy stuff on the auction, they'll throw an extra 5, an extra 10, whatever on for the raffle. So that means they are entering every week. The first week I have Charles in, Jason Withrow, Kenny Peterson, Pete Winters, Alec Blanchett, Zach Thompson, Ron Walensky. Big job. Who got in last week? Norma is in. Brandon is in. Randy Weininger, Jason Withrow, Dispatch Brian, Zach Thompson, Alec Blanchett, Kenny Peterson, and Lee Carr. So if you, at this point, think you're in on the raffle, be sure to get with me and let me know if I missed your name. Everybody that I read off is in here as of right now. So if I read your name, you're in here on the Autolite raffle. We are going to give that away on October the 2nd. Now, like I mentioned earlier, the 2nd is the day after my auction. So F&E Classic Car Auction is on Saturday the 1st. So if you're going to get in, please get in by within the next week and a half. I will try to get anybody caught at the end of that week, but I won't guarantee it because I get pretty busy, obviously, with our collector auto auction. My partner Chris does a lot, and him and I work together pretty well, but it takes him and I both everything we got to keep that thing on the rails. We've had a lot of success with it, and it's been working really well. And we want to continue that. We don't want to mess up the momentum we've got going. So we work very, very hard to make sure that thing stays on track. So like I said, next week will be fine, and hopefully the first part of the week after that. But please get in earlier rather than later if you want a shot at the super cool, beautiful Autolite battery cable sign. So big jobs. They're nobody addicts now. So anyway, new inventory. Like I said, I didn't have time to pick up any cars this week, so I ended up buying more cars. Didn't pick up any cars, so I'm going backwards again. But like I said, my entire pickup is stuffed full of parts. I took one of the big trucks, one of my Dodges, one of my Cummins. Let's go with the 8-foot bed, and it's full. So we'll have I got a lot of parts to sort out. We're going to show you guys when I get them unloaded. Hi, I'm Jason Withrow, I'm addicted to iron and oil. I think we could all fall for that. So yeah, Big John's got everybody hooked on the addict thing now. So but anyway, that's about what I've got for tonight. Like I said, I did not have a full blown out episode built because I was out of town, but worked out pretty well on time-wise, I think, especially because a lot of guys did have to get off tonight. And like I said, the time thing is something we need to work on. I really need to work on tweaking it because it's so long. And I know that's tough for you guys to stay on. I appreciate the ones that do. I'm glad you enjoyed enough to stay on. But we'll keep working on it. We'll keep working on it. We'll keep trying to improve it. I try to improve it every week. I always value your guys' feedback because you are the ones that this is for. And I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. Invite your friends over and have them hang out with us too. So, like I said, that's about what I've got. I'm going to get ready to wrap up. I'll keep an eye on comments here for a few more seconds. Pete says, yeah, it was an awesome show. Everybody's confessing now that they're addicted to iron, oil, and rust. So, well, I guess we all know we have a problem. We have established that. So glad you guys made it. What's coming up this week? Like I said, I've got several videos from this other salvage yard I visited this week. I'll probably get one of those up. I've got those Cadillacs I have not shot yet at the yard. I've got a couple things at the yard I do need to shoot. So we will try to get some of that stuff done, plus the yard stuff, plus the parts of the back of the truck. So we'll get some of those videos up for this week. We'll definitely do some cool stuff on Tuesday for Toy Tuesday. Well, everybody's admitting they've taken the first step. So David W. is a little more of the raffle. Ozark Fox says no interventions for this group. So yeah, we've got some cool signs. I think we'll do signs again on Tuesday night. Norma says great show. I appreciate that. And there again, I appreciate all your guys' support. All you guys tell me how much you enjoy it, which shocks me. I didn't think that this would be all that enjoyable, but you guys seem to like it. I keep trying to get better. Hopefully, I am getting better. Hopefully, you're enjoying it more. C Square 24 is a 92 Chevy Caprice, a good daily car. If you like a big old cruiser, they're perfect because those are big old cruisers and they're pretty nice cars. But so and like I said, that's why a lot of times when I talk to you guys on the phone, I always ask you what your opinion is, how things are going, because I want your feedback and I want to know what direction we should be going with things. So 73 to 79 GM dually beds in decent shape. I've got one square body dually bed. I think it's 70s era, but I don't know for sure. It's all I got was the bed. They took it off about 35 years ago, sat it on a concrete slab in the corner of the corral, and that's where it sat till I brought it in. There's zero rust in it. It's got a dent on the left side, but I don't know for sure what year it is. but it is a very, very nice bed. That's right, Jason. We're a group of enablers. That's true. David W. looks forward to it, and I'm glad you guys do. It still amazes me the way you guys look forward to it. You jump on, you support it. We have a lot of fun on here. Any guest appearances coming? Not really, not that I have planned. You know, we could go to StreamYard, and I could get some other people on the computer, which I'm probably going to go to StreamYard eventually anyway. But there again, where do we put it? Where do we put them? So unless somebody's coming to the auction is going to stick around till Monday, then you're more than welcome to do the show on that Sunday night when we give away the Autolite sign. If anybody's coming in for the auction and wants to stick around Sunday and hang out and do the show Sunday night, that's always a possibility. Rico and Jess did it with us a couple of years ago. Maybe they'll stick around. Who knows? We don't know. But just let me know. If you're coming to the auction, we'll stick around. We'll do that. But anyway, that being said, that pretty much wraps it up for me. I got a lot of stuff to do this week. I got tons of stuff to ship, obviously, from tonight. Plus, I had a bunch of stuff sell over the weekend after the eBay snafu from last week. So maybe they're showing my stuff a little more and pushing it a little bit since they kind of screwed me around last week. So C-Square 24, I'm 20 years old and tired of tiny cars. Small framework could be kind of an issue, but yeah, those Caprices are pretty darn nice cars. That's for sure. So anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this thing up. Devin, my 73 Chevy Custom 30 has a home-built gin pole bed, and it's tweaked really bad. Wants a factory bed. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what year this is. I think some guys have said it is 70s era, but the differences are minor, and I don't know exactly what they are. So, but anyway, that'd be a good way to be different, C-Square, no doubt about it. And they're cool cars. They are. Shopcat, I missed out on a semi-truck show at an antique museum. Semi-trucks are definitely cool. Have Dad on some night? Yeah, we need to do that too. New sub, C-Square 24 is a new sign up for new sub. Awesome, C-Square, appreciate that. That bed I've been pricing that bed at $4,000. It's that good. I've got tons of people that want it, but that's why I've been pricing it at $4,000 because I don't think there's any rust in it. One dent and it broke the left fender, but it's got a replacement fender with it. So. C-Squared fan us after looking up Caprice car vids. So glad you're here. Hope you come back and hang out with us. We do this every Sunday night at 7 o'clock. We do Toy Tuesday live at 7 o'clock. We check out toys and memorabilia. Plus, I'm going to be bringing you some new videos this week of new inventory as well. So as always, thanks for watching, everybody. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you spending pretty much your whole Sunday evening with us. Everybody's welcome to C-Squared. Awesome. I'm glad. That's something else, C-Squared 24. We've got an awesome group on here of amazing people and amazing car people that a lot of times when I don't get the answers right, a lot of you guys help us out with it. So, yep, Addie could get on with us some night when you were home too. That's true too. You could do that. John, I'm still wanting more, so I'm going to check out some of the inventory you put on this week. David W., I've often imagined what it would be like to get together in the same place. It's a great group. It is a great group. It is an amazing group, and it's all because of you guys that make the group. So, yeah, maybe Addie can get on with us sometime. Maybe we can get Dad in here some night. So we need a lot of badges. That's true. We haven't even given you some badges in a while, so we'll throw out a few more of those. C-Squared 24, good night. Check out some more videos later. Jason says definitely have Addie on. So I'm going to call it a night, guys. Appreciate you being here. I'm whipped. I need to get some sleep, and I got a crazy next couple of weeks coming up. Obviously, I got to get everything shipped. I've got all those Model T parts we've got to start moving. If you haven't seen that Model T collection that we're selling at the F&E Collector Auto Auction, if you know any Model T guys, original paint, 26 truck running and driving, touring car completely ready to go, tons of parts, accessories, tons of Model T stuff. So if you guys know any Model T guys, they definitely need to check that out. Devin, tonight's the first time I've been on a live stream, but he's watched some of the videos. Well, I'm glad you're checking out the live stream. I hope you enjoyed it. And we do it every week. And everybody keeps coming back. So we must be doing something right, Devin and C-Squared. I hope you guys enjoyed it being new and appreciate the subs. And I hope you come back. We have a lot of fun. We have a great group. So, and that's what makes it awesome is the group of people that are on here. When I don't have the answers, a lot of times they do. We have a ton of fun. It's an amazing group. And that's why we're here. We're all a bunch of nobodies. So appreciate it. Glad everybody came back. Glad everybody had fun. Got some new ideas tonight. Going to keep tweaking stuff. Going to make it better. Going to get better. Appreciate you guys being here and making it what it is. I'm going to sign off, get some rest so I can get rolling hard this week. We will see you Tuesday night, 7 o'clock for some more memorabilia. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. See you Tuesday night, and definitely hope to see you back here Sunday night, 7 o'clock next week, Sunday night live chat for more Sunday night shenanigans. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you on the next show.